waiting for somebody to ask me to do this basically forever. And then it finally I enjoy it so much.
It's great.
And it is, with all due respect to everybody, but it's like super low stakes, right? But it's so much fun.
What else do you want a public address announce? The volleyball games? I
don't know volleyball well
swimming?
enough.
I don't know.
I don't know
It's even better that you don't know.
Something that I know basketball. I could do baseball. There's not much to do.
Yeah.
Right. Other than batting third. Timmy Thompson.
So here's what public address announcers do for swimming events. They go, all right, now it's time for the 200-meter butterfly, and and then they walk out, and people go, oh, this is Bobby
Emily Hebel in lane
Rogers.
1.
This is Emily Hebel, and they say,
from what country? Go. I just think of the Olympics every time that we're doing
and
that.
And then they do that Michael Phelps thing where he has like his 9-foot arms
I used
and
to
he
do
swings
that.
them back and forth.
It gets your shoulders.
I think
all
you'd
open.
kill it in lacrosse. To me personally, I think you'd kill it.
I just start calling hockey. Like I'd be asking where the blue line is and whether or not they're on a power play.
Do you want to be like a DJ?
Like
Would you want to be someone who I don't know, you know how who's the guy that does it with
This is good. Yeah.
did it for our Mandy's? I'm blanking on his name.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
But hey, everyone get ready for
like a hype
bar mitzvah.
I'm not a hype guy. That's the problem.
Okay.
Like I kind of there are moments in my life where I wish I were a hype guy, but I've just decidedly not. It's just the exact opposite.
Do you
of
like
my
whimsy? Is that
deal.
why?
I do a little bit occasionally. Although I don't know if I'm whimsical, but I am very enthusiastic with my calls at the football games.
What if they have, they have in high school, you had dances and this and all that stuff, in middle school as well. What if you maybe became a DJ for some of those events there?
What I would it's not a bad idea. School, like you said, school dances.
Your house music, like your knowledge in house.
Well, that's my area of expertise and my passion, as we all know. I wouldn't hate the idea of doing a little play-by-play on some of this stuff, too. That's when I first got started in this whole thing. That's what I wanted to do. And then I realized it's super difficult. I'm like, ooh, I could just run my mouth instead. Like I don't have to prepare or look at what's going on. I could just say, well, that guy sucks. That's much easier. That's how I ended up
fit your lane better.
Are there any more theme nights? We know we had Western Night that one time. Was there any more theme nights?
There are. There was a Blue Out. There's a
disco.
There's not maybe there are more theme nights. I need to look.
Okay, if you do a disco night, I want you to get like an afro wig, and then I want you to do the whole bell bottoms and everything. Yeah, I want you to get in character.
Do this 90 times. That's all I think you have to do. Do that for an hour.
Just do the Travolta and the
You're set. They're going to be like, wow, he's a dancer.
Very, very excited.
I have news that I just got, regarding myself. Would be interesting.
Are you upping his breaking news?
No, not really. I'm upset I haven't received an email yet. So, again, Taylor Swift meter. We're going to bring it up right now in the opening segment. All right, so
we have to reset that. I think we're only at 4 in a row now, right?
Yeah. All right, yeah. So the premiere for her concert movie is going to be October 11th here in Los Angeles. And so I just saw that Spotify is sending out RSVP emails to Taylor Swift's top fans for Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour concert film, which is the premiere on October 11th. And I'm like, I need to get this email. I need to go to October 11th.
So you know that they're going out, but you haven't gotten one.
Yeah, I haven't gotten one. That I know they're going out to these quote-unquote top fans out there in Los Angeles.
Top fans based on listening time?
Yes, listening time and
Pandora
location.
sent some, too. I got a couple from Pandora. So
but how do I get on this list, Spotify? I need to go to this. It'd be great for me.
So, Slee, all I'm hearing is that she didn't listen to enough Taylor Swift recently
right?
to not be on the list. That's all I'm hearing.
And to be honest with you, you're not committed enough. So
you're a casual. You're a casual. Like you're not about it.
Exactly. I haven't listened
to
enough.
Not even on her top list. She's got to scroll to find Taylor Swift.
I need to put it on when I sleep, so I'm not even I'm just absorbing it in my dreams and everything to get on this top list. But I'm offended, Spotify.
Well, I
know why I'm not on here yet.
It's like a pilot, not enough flight hours.
Yeah, there you go. To be completely honest, how she's not on that list. I mean, I thought that'd be the first email they sent out.
What was your percent? I remember a couple of years ago you said you're the top 1/10 of 1%.
I was in the top 1%, but my friend I actually hung out with last night was in the top 0.01%. So there are people that are crazier than me.
Maybe you're her plus one.
Yeah, maybe she'll get it.
I will actually ask her. She is in LA right now. So
there you go.
We'll see.
Hey, forward it. Yeah, ask her to forward it.
But I need to go.
Did you get yours yet, Al?
I haven't got mine. To be honest with you, I checked spam last night. I checked everything.
I don't like spam. Like the spam
Some
folder.
weird stuff in that spam
itself.
All your
folder.
emails to me go to spam on my ESPN email. Did
To
you know
you?
that?
From
yeah.
me to you?
Yeah. If you ever send me an email, it goes
Why?
to spam. I don't know.
You got to click the box that says this isn't spam.
I have, and then it keeps on going to spam. Maybe
Okay.
you didn't
I
fix
think
that.
that's done on purpose.
It could be done on purpose. Want a random one? Well, our email, obviously. So my email is my ESPN email address. I get emails from ESPN, like the.
Get ready for Monday Night Football.
Yeah, watch ESPN, all that stuff. The pay their $6.99. It goes to my spam inside my ESPN. I'm like, guys, it's ESPN sending me an email. Why is it going to my spam? I take it out there, it goes right back in there.
That's weird.
It's very weird.
You got to click. Did you click the box? This
the
is
box.
not spam.
Yeah, done it multiple times.
I don't think
They
the
never
spam
listen.
filters-
It's like when you unsubscribe from an email from a
And you
place
keep
that
getting
is spam, and then you keep on getting these emails. I don't understand how email works, guys.
No, I don't think anybody does, other than the people that have designed it to make sure that you get what you don't want,
Right.
and the things that you may or may not want sometimes get there and sometimes don't. I don't
course.
send you a ton of emails.
No,
text
I think
you
it's
when
like
I need
every
something.
so often, and every time I've gotten it, I have, and it just gets sent to my
Bro,
spam.
you go to spam. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just
I
Yes,
actually
'cause
made a
you
rule.
can- can't you specifically set up like a spam filter on your email, like anything that includes the word Travis goes to spam?
And you can do that. I
she
should
set
just
up
make
the
a Travis
spam on
hat.
your text
You
too.
can,
Every
and
text
I
you
have.
send her goes to her email spam.
Speaking of the people that create emails, did you guys notice yesterday Google turned 25?
No kidding.
And then when you
That's
posted
crazy.
your picture from 26, I'm like, dude, you guys are like.
By the way,
like
that's a
97, right?
Beautiful shot.
I know the picture from
That's a
yesterday.
beautiful picture.
Yeah.
So there were two recurring themes to the picture I posted yesterday. I posted
Where
a
you
picture.
compliment her and you don't compliment yourself.
Well, that's just my go-to because it's true. It was our picture from our wedding day,
Yeah.
and
She looked beautiful.
she does, and
did.
she did
She does.
and does. I mean, I'm not kidding. So I don't know how many likes it got on. I put it on Instagram and Twitter. At least 10 people, a couple of whom I know, and then many who I do not.
Yeah.
Thinking that Susan looks like Leah Thompson. Like it wasn't one or two, it was 8 or 10. So that's a recurring theme that was on there. The other part was, dude, what happened to all your hair? Those were the two things that
Age.
came up.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
what happened.
Pretty
You know
simple.
you know what happened to my hair? I'm almost 52 now. I was 25 then. That's what happened to my hair.
Here's the numbers 12.7K views.
Is that a lot?
Yeah, that's 12,000.
That's a lot.
That's 12,000.
Is it?
That's a lot.
Yeah.
As an influencer,
They love
I expect bigger
themselves.
numbers.
They love themselves some T-Raj right there.
You know, I just figure that
Maybe you'll get invited to the Taylor Swift premiere instead of me.
Forward the email. But it
That's
goes
a
to
great
spam.
shot. That was a
Thank
great
you.
photo.
Thank you. We had a nice
Great
night.
photo.
We went out, and so we're having our official anniversary dinner tomorrow night.
It landed right in the middle of the week, so you try
So
to
it's
plan
Wednesday
for the weekend.
night.
Yeah.
We'll do it on. We'll be able to go have a couple of drinks. We'll Uber in. We'll Uber out. We'll have a good time. But last night we went to a place in town in Dana Point, Maison. Love it. It's great. And there's 3 other people in the restaurant. It was really empty. And we went a little bit later than we usually do. Dana Point shuts down pretty early, so it was about 6:30. It was pretty sparsely attended.
6:30.
I love how that's like
wow.
everyone's they're starting to fold up chairs.
I went to a bar last night at 8 p.m. and it was packed.
So we walked out of the restaurant, and it was a little before 8. It's maybe 5
The
minutes.
chef
to
is
8.
walking out when you're walking in.
You could see into the kitchen, and they're just kind of like, yeah, they're just chit chatting. There's one other couple at the bar. That was it. So it's Wednesday night at Dana Point. Anyway, so we sit down, we order. Like, hey, it's our anniversary. We should probably get a martini. Yeah, okay, we'll get it. She gets Susan gets a Grey Goose. I get a Sapphire. And so we do that, and it comes around. We order the appetizer. We order the entrees. And we're going through, and the guy goes, drinks are empty. He goes, can I get you guys another? No, we don't. No.
Yeah.
Two martinis.
It's our anniversary.
2 martinis on a Wednesday is a bad idea. We don't want to do that. I said, you want a glass of wine? She goes, yeah, I'll have one. I'm like, what? If we're going to get 2 glasses of wine, we might as well get a bottle of wine. So we ended up getting the bottle of wine as well. But then we took a nice walk afterwards. It was a wonderful anniversary celebration that's not the anniversary
It was a
celebration.
pre.
Yeah.
But it was on the actual day,
It was.
so that's
It was
important.
And then we went home and watched TV. It was.
What'd you watch?
And
The
you fell
documentary?
asleep by
What did we
9:30.
watch last night? I'm trying to
Yellowstone?
think. No, it wasn't Yellowstone.
Sopranos.
Wasn't
That's what
Sopranos. Oh, it was.
Don't.
It's what I told you I was watching earlier, right? So YouTube just kind of starts saying they read your brain waves, and then it starts feeding you the things you want. The algorithm, but how did it know I wanted this? It started feeding me the NFL's most vicious hits. Yeah. So that's how we.
Oh yeah, I saw something similar to that. Yeah.
Did you? Okay, is that in the universe right now?
It was like on my Twitter that maybe it's just being like boosted right
and
now.
I'm like,
I don't know.
because the picture on the homepage, Slee, was from like a game from the 80s. I'm like, I think I remember. I want to see what that is. And the next thing you know, I spent 40 minutes watching Ronnie Lott kill guys.
How lovely it is after your wedding celebrate or your anniversary celebration. Just go watch some vicious.
This is why I know it's meant to be, and this is why we've been able to stay married for 26 years. Is she didn't seem to mind at all. It was terrific.
What a lovely nightcap.
This is when M came in. You went to go get a cup of coffee. We're just about to prep, and she's like, "Hey, you guys talk about anything that for the show?" And I was thinking about it. I'm like, "Nah, Padres screwed up. All right, that's enough there." And then, as you just kind of hit on all that, basically, I would have told her, "Yeah, we talked about Ed Reed's hits from 15 years ago, Troy Polamalu's hits, talked about Rodney Harrison's hits." I don't know if that's going to help for the show tonight or today, but
it just did. The most vicious hits in NFL history was basically a Ray Lewis highlight reel
montage.
It was like every fourth play was Ray Lewis doing work on somebody, and best supporting actor Vontez Perfect. He was in there pretty frequently.
By the way, the best recent hit that I've seen that is legal, obviously in this day and age, was the Nick Scott hit on Debo Samuel.
Oh
and was it the NFC Championship game, or was it Week 18? I think it might have been Week 18.
I think you're right.
Of 2021.
Clean hits, all good. We were talking about back in the day where they were just dirty. They were just, no. I want to make sure that you're out of the league.
When they're trying
it's
to
like,
poke
what
guys'
the
eyes
hell?
and shatter their knees. Now you got 260-pound guys that run 4 threes that are trying to bury each other.
They used to have a segment on ESPN. Remember, they used to have that whole segment.
That's right.
On just
They used to sell videos called Quarterback Crunch or NFL Blitz or whatever.
ESPN would start some of their sports centers. It's like, look at these guys get blasted and they can't walk off the field. I'm like, yeah, all right.
The reaction
world has changed
from the 80s. A hit like that, it's he's going to be feeling that one tomorrow.
Now you're like,
and now it's like the NFL is very, very concerned about hits like that.
Yes,
it's
a little different,
and it's for the best for these.
I'm good with it.
Players' health.
Do you think it's
They're still
affected
getting hit like that?
Do you think it's affected the views and the this and all that of the NFL? Of course it hasn't.
The NFL
We're all watching.
Feels like it's a popular sport.
Yeah, I think they're okay.
I mean, what do I know? But it feels like a popular sport. Dodgers in Colorado again last night, and with just a handful of games left in the season, they're peaking, especially on the mound, at just about the right time. That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN. that likes to watch the NFL's most vicious hits on your 26th anniversary. That's how you know you've picked the right person.
Like I said,
That's
right,
awesome.
we're going into break. It's like a unbelievable hit from Rodney Harrison, and then she turns to you and says, I love you.
We just hold hands.
I just love you.
Quietly stare into each other's eyes.
This is so warm.
Do you see Vontez, baby?
after a martini and half a bottle of wine. Maybe we should go upstairs.
Yeah. We have YouTube upstairs. We can finish it up there.
Oh, remember the router doesn't reach up there.
No, the router. Now you're making me and putting me in a bad mood. The router doesn't make it downstairs. Or whoever put the Wi-Fi in my house did it with the advanced knowledge that one day I was going to move in there. And they put the setup in the furthest corner of the house. So there's
Wi-Fi is great of those bedrooms
those
up top
two
in the
bedrooms,
restroom.
you could basically run a space mission from there that the Wi-Fi is so good. But if you want to stream Netflix in the family room, you can't do it. Impossible.
Gosh.
Can't do it. It's 8 feet further, but it doesn't work.
Yeah,
It's
that's not gonna
wonderful.
work.
Yeah,
We've been dealing with it
that's
for
not gonna work.
10 years. You didn't watch any Sopranos last night, Jorge?
Did not. I went to the LAFC game, and not the result we wanted, but
PKs, you said?
You left at the end of regulation because you had to beat traffic, right, Al?
no, I'm not gonna be traffic. I took the train.
You have to do it better, man. You got to leave. You stay too long. Those tickets aren't. My tickets are not valid for a full game. I bought 3 quarters.
Hey, Sliwa, time to go. Regulation's over.
But how was the game?
It was exciting. It was a 0-0. Like it was
Trav loves
0-0,
0-0.
right?
Oh
Trav?
yeah. 0-0
Did we
start.
have chances?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
We did.
See, it's about chances in soccer. It's not necessarily just about the goals. It's how many opportunities, how many
But then I
how many
felt-
chances
Times of
do you get?
possession.
I felt like they were gonna get it done in the penalties, but it didn't go their way. Two of the guys shot straight in the middle, and the keeper just didn't move.
That doesn't work.
It doesn't. But sometimes, like
Good
if-
analysis.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's just-
but I've always thought
like
I have
it.
2 theories when it comes to
Okay.
sports I deeply don't understand.
Okay.
But I feel like these would be the PKs. Just kick it dead. The goalie always jumps to one side or the other. Why
Right.
not just launch it straight at the middle? There's a reason that it doesn't work.
Their feet can kick it. Even if they die, their feet can still get to it.
Turns out it's not a great. My other idea is have a sumo wrestler as your hockey goalie who basically covers the entire goal. There's
And then
no
you don't have to
space
do
for the
anything.
puck to
But
go
he has
in.
to stay on skates.
Yeah, but we could teach. Look, those guys are reasonably athletic.
Yeah, they're dexterous.
And I'm not saying that they got to go skate with Sidney Crosby. I'm just saying stand in front of the goal on your skates, and there's barely enough room for the puck even to get in.
That one I like better than your soccer idea. This idea specifically of just find someone who can cover the entire goal. By the way, it doesn't have to be a sumo wrestler. It could be a lineman that just couldn't make it in the league.
I'm just talking
is now an O lineman that is now your goalie.
An abnormally large person.
Well, that should be your backup goalie. The emergency goalie should always be
That guy.
whoever happens to be the most surface area person in that
Yes,
arena.
that's well said.
Yes.
I need sir, what is your surface area? Would you like to be the emergency goalie tonight? And if you would sign this form, we'll
Well,
get
you
you out
could.
on the
Okay,
ice.
from a goalie perspective in soccer, get a guy like Wembanyama.
I don't think there's a lot of those guys.
That wingspan.
Did you guys
That
see the
wingspan
video of him stretching?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
What in
crazy.
the world is that?
For those who didn't see it, it's like
a real
he's-
stretch, and he's 7'4" with
Yeah, he's like stretching all the way down, touching his like head to his knees, like on the ground. He's also like bending his knees all the way down to a full deep squat, and then he's doing the splits. Like
does the splits.
It's insane.
He does the splits. He's 7'5", and he does the split, and it doesn't look like he's straining to do it. It just looks like he can do it like a gymnast. It was the weirdest. First of all, it doesn't look right because his arms are 9 feet long.
What was that dog?
Stretch Armstrong?
Gumby, like he could just stretch. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, that's him.
Do you guys remember? You probably you're not. None of you guys are old enough.
Action figure, right?
Stretch Armstrong was
Oh,
this
yeah, I
guy
remember
that was
that.
like a superhero,
Yeah.
and you could pull him like he was normal size, like 12 inches.
We had the toys.
In the toys. But then it turned out that the jelly inside of him was toxic, and so
Oh,
if he split, that there was a problem. And they would split fairly
Well, I mean,
easily.
listen, you can't win all the battles. I mean, you created something that was very unique.
Loved my Stretch Armstrong. I remember the commercial. My mom, where's the Stretch Armstrong? Get it out of the house. Get it out of here. It's like, all right.
Also, by the way, Eddie Carrillo sent us the hit that Nick Scott got on Debo Samuel. It was that NFC Championship game. So, in case anybody was really worried, it was that.
There he is. That's
on
Stretch
Amazon
Armstrong.
right now.
He should be the goalie. Just stretch him
You
across.
want it tomorrow at your house?
How much?
$21.
That's it?
Yeah.
Shoot,
Is it still toxic? I don't think so, right?
they probably fixed
Well,
it.
it says the original. So I think
well.
it is still toxic.
Maybe.
It's probably
Maybe.
more toxic now than it was over time.
It's like a half-life. It's like radioactive. The Dodgers did something last night that, was super impressive. They beat a gaucho. Noah Davis, the pitcher for the Rockies last night. UCSB's finest. The Dodgers played the Rocks again. They beat them again. And the Rockies are terrible. But I want to give the Dodger pitchers credit anyway. Pitching in Coors Field is incredibly difficult. The outfield is enormous. The ball carries. We all know that. The ball spins less on your breaking pitches. All of these things that lead to wacky Coors Field kind of numbers. But not just Emmett Sheehan last night, who struck out 10 guys. He walked 0. Okay, that 10 is a career high. That's awesome. It's the 0 that's far more impressive to me.
Complete control of your stuff.
Complete control of your stuff in an environment where if you miss, you're going to get tattooed, right? You had Michael Grove, Bobby Miller, Emmett Sheehan, and Ryan Pepio, the 4 guys that are going to have to pitch well if you're going to win the World Series. All of them pitched in this series in Colorado, and all of them pitched lights out. Look, I get it. There's 4 or 5 more games left, and you're on ice for a week before you start to play a game that matters. But your young guys are ending on a high note in a tough environment, I think is very important.
There was a vibe when the Dodgers, you could call it a month ago or so, I think the vibe was incredibly discouraging if you're a Dodger fan. Julio is gone. Kershaw, what's he going to be able to give you when he comes back?
Buehler got scrubbed.
That's right. Buehler was, hey, is there a chance he's going to pitch in September? Yep. That's out the window. And I think the vibe was, it's just not their year. I mean, look at how many different guys that went down. It's still incredible what they were able to accomplish. I think they surpassed expectations when it comes to having that many players go down, and that's not even me including Dustin May and Tony Gonsolin and all these other guys. And I really, really kind of, at least in my own head, I was like, this isn't going to go anywhere. Like, there's only so much you can do with this many players out. And watching the Dodgers over the last 30 days, none of those guys are playing like we don't have a shot because we got a lot of young pitchers, or we don't have a shot because we lost a lot of our dependable arms, or whatever the case is.
Experienced arms.
I'm watching a Dodgers team that every single night, and you go look at the bottom of that lineup as well, JD, Outman, Peralta, Ross. There's so many guys that are also just producing, and I'm not telling you it's going to translate to the postseason, but the confidence level of where I think this Dodgers team is right now getting ready for the postseason. I don't feel like there's a crazy amount of pressure on them. I get it. That sounds a little weird when you tie that back to the Dodgers. They play loose. They look like they're having fun. There's got to be an incredible amount of confidence. And whatever doubt that you had a month ago, I feel like that washed away of let's just go play some baseball and see what happens.
At least as much as it can. Right, at least as much as it can as far as the confidence that comes along. Look, Bobby Miller has probably been the best baseball player every field he stepped on until this year. Right, this is probably the first time in his life where he walked out there and said, "Oh man, I got to be even better than I thought," because this is the major leagues, and there's Ronald Acuña, and there's and
look what
Austin
I'm doing.
Riley, and the more success you have, you start to think, "Oh, okay, I can do this." And the last thing you would want is before you go into your final series of the season, which is San Francisco this weekend, is get beat around by a Colorado team that's awful. Even if it's not necessarily that they're good, it's the ballpark. They all stood up. And whether it means anything in a week or not, we can talk about that coming up in a little bit. But I'd much rather have my guys on a high going into this thing than on a, hey, look, let's just flush that. It never happened. Let's get ready to start all over again. Let's take a little of that. And it wasn't just one of them. It was virtually all of them. Pepio has pitched really well. Miller has had a little bit of an up and down, but the overall arc of his – look, he won 11 games this year. If I would have told you at the beginning of the season Bobby Miller's going to win 11 games for the Dodgers.
Who's Bobby Miller?
Who's Bobby Miller? You're right. You're absolutely right.
When did he even come in? When he was called
middle
up?
Of the season? And it's because there goes Gonsolin and there goes
Think about
May.
that. We're also talking about 11 wins midway through the season or somewhere around that moment.
He responded to a challenge that he probably didn't know he was even going to have to face incredibly well. Well, the next challenge is here. The next challenge is go beat the Milwaukee Brewers, go beat the Chicago Cubs, the Arizona Diamondbacks in a playoff where, we were joking last night. We're going to get playoff baseball beginning of next week. And that's so much different than regular season baseball, where every pitch is, every pitch. And those guys feel it too. They know it too. If you lose a game, if Dodgers lose a game, it's like, whatever. If you lose a playoff game, it's happening again. It's happening again. What are we going to do? And they've never gone through that before. And I'm excited that they're going into it on a high note.
Maybe that's even better for them. They don't have that, they don't have that scar tissue, that trauma from having not done it in the past.
Let's talk about that, because Al, I know that you've been kind of singing that song for a little bit, and I want to hear more about it, because I'm not so sure that a week from Saturday when they play that first game, if we're not right back where we were at the end of last season. That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
That's a great question.
Travis and Sliwa
On 710 ESPN.
All right, so Eddie Carrillo X's at us. I don't know how to say this anymore. Tweets at us.
I'm going with tweets.
Okay, tweets at us says, in reference to how you chose to spend the evening of your wedding anniversary, because you watched the NFL's biggest hits. So he says,
most vicious hits.
Oh, sorry, most vicious hits. Says, damn, Trav, have heard of Netflix and chill, but never heard of YouTube's NFL's biggest hits and chill.
Eddie, I'm an innovator.
Has to have a special lady that wants to be involved with that.
And she is. We had a wonderful night. It was great.
She actually picked it. She's the one that...
We want a love like yours.
Yeah, exactly.
She's typing it into the search. By the way, is that not the worst? When you're trying to type the search on your
Okay, so can I make a confession?
Yeah.
I finally did the thing that when my kids would do it, I'm like, can you stop doing that?
I need to do it. I don't. My remote doesn't have the voice. I would be doing it all day. I'd talk more to the TV than I would to.
So if I'll say, hey, I just make something up. How many wins did Oral Hershiser have? Right? Instead of typing in how many wins did Oral Hershiser, they just go, how many wins did Oral Hershiser have? And I'm like, just type. It bothers me. I don't. It's for no good reason.
I got a feeling they didn't ask. They didn't search that question.
Travis, there's people that text that way. There's people that text like that.
It drives me bonkers, but I discovered that the remote has a voice feature. It's wonderful.
Would you rather do that than a exclamation point? Capital. I'm like,
yes.
sit here for
Especially
freaking
with, like,
half
passwords
hour
and
just trying. And then by the time I'm done, I didn't log into NBC to watch the Sunday night game. I got to put the new password in.
Yeah, but especially with passwords and stuff, when you had to put it in on the TV, like on my Roku and stuff.
Right.
Eventually, I just like cast it onto my TV because I have like a
Yeah.
Google Chromecast.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just cast it at some point.
No, I've made the plunge to just
You should.
NFL's most vicious hits.
You know who does that? Maite. She's like, Alexa, put YouTube.
Different
And
world.
I'm just like, dude.
Different world.
Yeah.
They don't know.
They know.
Yeah,
but
it's just
one of
they
those-
grew up in
it's
a.
funny.
Why does that bother me? Does it bother you when people text?
Because somebody's talking
I
to
bother
themselves.
me
their
with
post-
text-to-speech,
Yes,
yeah.
there's two things that bother me. When you have a conversation and it's on speaker,
Ugh.
and like I'm in the
And
metro
you're
or
in a
whatever, and I'm
public
listening to
setting, yeah,
exactly.
sure. Yep.
And then when you're texting like that, like text mom, I'm going to the grocery store, comma, do you need milk, comma, eggs, comma, like relax. Like, what are we doing? We just like,
tap it out.
Exactly.
Tap it out.
But when they have the little sound, the little click sound,
Oh.
that's annoying. Oh.
We should make you and me the czars of all things
Oh,
that are
but
okay.
the double space in the
Look, it's there for a reason, Em. Right? The double space adds a period has to be there for a
for
reason,
you
right?
old people.
I guess so.
Did you guys see this last night where
What
Ronald
was Van
Acuña got
Exel's stats in the '95 season?
Bing, bing.
But did you see where Ronald Acuña got his 70th stolen base? So I don't know if you guys saw it, but
By the way,
there's-
can we just stop for a second?
yeah, go ahead.
He got his 70th stolen base.
Well, he's a speed guy, but he's only got 40 homers.
When it said
insane.
40-70, I'm like,
Stupid.
that doesn't go together in one stat. Like, that's mind-boggling.
It doesn't. It doesn't add up at all. To be that
Oh,
athletic and that powerful, it doesn't make any sense.
But
By the way, Ohtani could do it. And
Yeah.
I'm not. If he didn't have to pitch, I really do think because the 40 home runs he can do in his sleep, and if he were able to kind of be a little bit more daring, a little bit more aggressive on
Yeah.
the base pass, I'm not so sure he
if
could
he
do
wasn't
it.
so selfish,
Trying to win 15
Yeah,
games.
could
a
he
year.
win an MVP without being a pitcher?
1,000% he could.
Yeah.
And he could also win a Cy Young without ever stepping foot in a batter's. I mean,
He's insane.
he really is.
But the Cubs broadcast is not exactly super happy
Is
with
this
the
Boog?
celebration. Yeah, I believe this is Boog because it's the
Yeah.
TV broadcast for the Cubs.
And we're really stopping the game.
Can we get the base after the game? I mean, this is pretty absurd. I mean, it's just a hell of an accomplishment.
Totally, but you
But-
can't stop the game
Yeah,
and run a
yeah,
highlight montage.
he has 70 stolen bases. Shut up. He's got
And it's
70
in Atlanta.
stolen bases. I know. It's not like the
gonna happen.
Cubbies are. You know what they're bitter about?
Yes, I do.
They're jacking up their chances to make the playoffs. They keep losing, and they're losing one-run games to the Atlanta Braves. And here's Atlanta with just house money, enjoying themselves, lose
Throwing
70
parties.
stolen bases. That's what they're upset about. They're not upset at Acuña.
If you don't like the celebration, A, throw him out. B, win more games so you aren't sweating the final 5 games of the year.
Yeah.
So you know who's having a good time today? The Rays, the Orioles, the Dodgers,
Oh, yeah.
the Braves, the Phillies, the
They're
teams.
chilling.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're going to throw – guy goes 40-70, we're going to have a little party. We're going to give him the base. We're going to, have him do a little speech or whatever it may be. And if you don't like it, then you should have either stopped it or clinched your spot sooner.
Okay, what did they actually? I saw the clip yesterday on Twitter as well. How much time did they waste on that? Do we know? I mean, was it just, hey, give him his congratulations, he stops it?
Couple minutes?
Yeah, it didn't seem like anything more than like probably 3 minutes max. And even then, it's a huge accomplishment. It's at home in Atlanta. Like, it's something that happens when you get this big record.
It's like they brought like a live performance out and they have like a 30-minute set going for relax. It's a 2-minute set. Let's
or like,
move on.
when LeBron obviously broke the point record or whatever.
Yeah.
And he, gave a little speech, had a little thing. It's
Everybody
not
was
that.
into that except for Anthony Davis.
But the bigger story would be like,
AD
Ronald
was
Acuña
like,
did that,
come on.
and Ozzy Albies is like stewing on the bench. That's what I would care about.
Enough already.
Jeez.
It's have fun, whimsy.
I want to make a case for what baseball has done really well, and this is an example of the opposite. Baseball, for the longest time, had a stick somewhere you don't want one.
Right.
Yep.
Right? And it was all about the code and doing things the right way and don't show
For a
anybody else.
very
Unspoken
long
rules.
The
time. That's
unwritten
baseball.
rules of
Yep.
baseball were ridiculous and stupid. And pretty quickly it changed. We went from, if you want a bat flip, see how high you can throw it. You want to style your trot around the bases? Cool. You want to strike somebody out? Throw a party. And everybody kind of went, that's fine. That's what this is. That we got into, and part of the reason we do have 70 steals is because it's much easier to steal now because of the new rules.
Bigger bases.
Yeah.
Bigger bases, you can only pick off so many times. It's easier.
But who's second in stolen bases? What amount do they have? And I'm only asking that question because it's so absurd how far in
It's
front
crazy.
he is from everybody
It's
else
crazy.
who's playing under the same rules.
Let's have some fun with this. Dude did something awesome. Let's stop and enjoy something awesome. Right? I'm the one that lacks whimsy. This is whimsical. Let's have some fun. Baseball is finally starting to realize that, you know what? You guys are a TV show. It's a TV show.
Yeah.
It's an entertainment product that needs to be fun. And so how dare they take the base? It's like, come on, man, lighten up.
Right, the person right behind Acuna is Ruiz from Oakland. He has 65, but then
Oh,
it's
okay, no,
51
that's-
and 48.
that's
but again,
big time.
they don't have 40 home
They
runs.
don't have 40 jacks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay with, like, I understand just because Major League Baseball is trying to catch up with everybody else when it comes to entertainment and you got to adapt. I'm okay with, I know not everyone's going to sign up with that and be okay. That's going to take 25 years for people to say, this is normal, I didn't like it. Or maybe some people just never like it and they move on. I'm sure there's people you're talking about when things were getting hot and heavy yesterday watching YouTube NFL hits. When you were talking about that, I'm sure there are people today who are NFL fans that say this is BS, that they can't hit them like that anymore. I think it's just also okay to call out some of those broadcasters that sound like, come on, this is a cool moment. 95% of the people don't mind this.
Dude, don't be the guy that doesn't like a good time. And really don't be the guy that doesn't like someone else having a good time. Right? Like, if it's not for you, that's fine. Let them if it took 20 minutes and they're in the middle of a pennant race, not cool.
Yeah.
If it took 3 or 4,
If they
not a big
clinched
deal.
the playoffs 3 days ago, I don't know if it's the same reaction. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay.
I think there's just a frustrated Cubby fan base because of their situation.
100%. And they dropped a fly ball the night before that cost
Yep.
them a chance, and now they're in a dogfight over the last final weekend of the season. 40 jacks, 70 steals,
Okay.
or think we'll ever see, and Alex Rodriguez was on this list, or as a possibility, Canseco was a possibility. Bonds, as he put on weight, not so much. But honestly, a dude like Ohtani could be here. A dude like Acuña could be here. 50-50? Could we ever see a 50-50? Because he just...
Yeah, I think we can. Yeah, I think we can. I thought about it for a second. I want to give it some hesitation.
He's just got to hit 10 more homers.
I was going to say, it's not like you're 25 behind or something
No.
like that. You know what I mean? And the athletes that you're talking about, Shohei, let's say Shohei next year, he's obviously not going to pitch. How much better of a bat is Shohei when he's just focusing solely on hitting? And when he gets on to be a threat and everything, he doesn't have to worry about, I got a start coming up in X amount of days. What if we got the best bat we're going to see from Shohei next season because he doesn't have to pitch? I don't think it's a stretch. Acuna can do it.
Acuna could do it. Ohtani could do it. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else in the big leagues right now, because the 50 homers honestly feels like the Judge can't steal 50 bags. He could hit the 50 homers. There's not a ton of guys that can hit the 50 homers. That's the harder part.
Mookie can hit homers.
I don't think he could hit 50. Right?
What's he at now?
Career
40-ish?
high, I think he's 38 or 9.
Yeah.
And so, but to your point, he's 10 or so away. Now maybe, and I don't, does Mookie have 50 steals? I don't
No,
think so.
I think his steals are
Yeah.
So
It-
Mookie
a lot
has
lower than
14
we
stolen
thought.
bases
Yeah, a lot
this
lower.
season, and then he has
Freddie Freeman is running circles around him, and the
Freddie's got like 24 or
Yeah.
5 steals.
and Mookie has 39 home runs right now.
So he's got it. It's
yeah.
Acuña and Ohtani. Those are the two guys that you feel. And 50 steals for Ohtani would be asking a lot. He'd have to change his game a little. First of all, he doesn't get a ton of singles. I guess he walked him a bunch of times. That's it. I'm 50-50 watch for next season starts right now. Starts September 28th, 2023. Hey, did you see? Foo. Coming up next, it's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. 1-800-9-million. That's the number for Sweet James. Look, it's easy, right? If you get hurt in an accident, truck accident, car accident, motorcycle accident, dog bite, whatever it is, you need to call Sweet James for a million different reasons. But I want to give you a couple right now. Number one, you're talking about nearly 20 years of experience. You're talking about 500 trials worth of experience, a 98% win rate. All of these things are going on at Sweet James every single day, right? And they've got multiple attorneys looking at every case, which means they're not going to miss anything. So when the insurance company is offering you that settlement that's not anywhere near what it's supposed to be, they know it. And guess what? The insurance company knows it too. That's why when it comes to Sweet James, they play ball. And if they don't, you go to trial. And Sweet James wins 98% of the time. They can do the pre-litigation and they can do the trials as well. That's what separates Sweet James from all of the rest. If you're hurt in an accident, don't take on the insurance company by yourself. Call the accident attorneys at Sweet James at 1-800-9-million. That's 1-800-900-0000 and sweetjames.com.
All right, guys, listen, if the fedora's coming on, if the Laker fedora is coming on, something serious is going on. Lakers Media Day coming up this Monday. Of course, I'm excited. I know everybody's excited. It's all presented by BBGO. This is the rundown here. It's going to be live at the UCLA Health Training Facility out in El Segundo. It starts at 10 a.m., and then we're going to start interviewing the players and the coaches at 11 a.m. Comment below what questions you want us to ask. If they're good questions, I'll take them. If they're bad questions, I'll give them to Travis. Make sure you tune in next Monday, all presented by BBGO.
Time for the segment we do around this time, 10:40 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Hey, did you see that sky today?
Did you guys see that?
Basically, the days we don't do Ask Slee, we do this thing. It's called Hey, Did You See?
Did you see that? I saw it. I did it.
Did you see the memo about this?
I mean, I'm excited. You can tell by my read. Hey, did you see? So, hey, did you happen to see? It's time for Hey, Did You See?
Hey, man, did you touch my drum set?
Have you read this? Right now on Travis and Sliwa.
So how long till you go back to Sopranos? Tonight?
He's coming hard.
Tonight.
Yeah, he's
Tonight.
ready.
Two,
Hey,
3
the
episodes
Ducks.
maybe.
Okay.
The Ducks.
He was so excited yesterday.
The Ducks made me
He's
cry.
he's getting in.
It's blanking awesome.
It is, man. Brenda's excited. She's like, "Hey, are you gonna watch it without me?" I was like, "No, I guess we're gonna watch it."
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
It is.
When you have
It is.
and you're both on the same page,
But
and
here's
you got
the problem.
something to look forward to.
And I follow the rules. I
Yeah.
don't watch without Susan if it's something we both like.
Yeah.
But I want to.
Have you ever lied?
No, I haven't
Okay.
because.
Have you, Al?
No, I'm kind of on the
About
same
that.
boat here. Yeah,
But I get home before Susan most days. from
I lie
work.
about different things.
Right. I get home about 3. She gets home about 5. Okay, so we get home at different times, and I got an hour or so to just kind of do with what I want. And I'll turn on the TV. I'm like, ooh, I could watch another. And I debate every time. I don't do it though. but
I
want to.
forgot it was. I forgot which. It could have been around Breaking Bad or something like that. And there was something on Instagram, whatever it was, and it was the girl clearly watched before he did, and he'd be like, "Oh my gosh," and she'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe," and he just kept looking at her like, "This looks odd."
So I told you that Susan falls asleep when we watch TV a lot, and
yeah,
so
I know.
and so
what you mean.
I'll watch the end of the episode, and another one will start, and she's like, "Well, what happened?" I'm like, "What do you mean what happened? We've been watching for 90 minutes. Where did you fall asleep? I don't know." And then I got to rewatch it again, but that doesn't count as going ahead. What do you got, Jorge?
Have you guys watched Beef?
No.
I love
Beef
beef.
is so good. And
It's so good.
Yeah, it's one of those where Brenda was like, "One more." And
Is
it's like 2
Beef
in
the
morning.
road rage one?
Yes.
Okay. I saw the first
With,
10 minutes of the first episode.
With Ali Wong and Stephen Yun.
Yes.
It's absolutely fantastic. If you haven't seen it yet, it's only a couple episodes.
I heard a lot of people
It's really
talk about it
quick.
too.
Good.
It's one of the best things that Netflix has made as an original.
Got to check it out. What do you got, Jorge?
All right, fool. So we all know the Jets stink. And I don't know if you guys saw over the weekend. There was a guy screaming his lungs out because Zach Wilson
Yeah.
just sucks.
Paid
right?
good money for those seats.
Yeah, exactly. But he almost lost his teeth.
Yes.
So imagine how embarrassing that would have been for that guy. So it got me thinking, have you ever had an embarrassing moment in public? And then my moment was, I was in San Francisco. We're at Embarcadero. You know, like I'm a camera guy, so I'm
Yep.
filming something for TV. I bend over to get this shot of her feet walking towards us because she was a shoe person. So I'm trying to get her shoes for the show. And then my pants rip straight down the middle of the back. I'll tweet the picture because my boy was behind me when it happened. He took a picture. I'll post it. So that was my embarrassing moment. Have you ever had an embarrassing moment in public?
I haven't had one where it's like physically embarrassing, where like, you show your ass or something like that. It's like I haven't.
Hey, there's Travis's ass.
My boxers kind of, held me
I love
back.
that. That's where you went.
I've had the
I've never
gap
shown my ass.
where you call people the wrong name like repeatedly, and someone will say,
Yeah.
that's not." And I'm not even talking like my LaDainian Tomlinson gaff, like
AP and LT.
I've done the one, and Susan thinks I do it on purpose, and I don't. Well, I will introduce myself to somebody that I've met 10 times before. "Oh, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Travis."
Yeah.
And sometimes it's, "Yeah, I know. My name's Elaine. We've met 7 times before." That's those, but never I had my pants undone walking into a restaurant or something like that.
All right, so growing up, I might have told the story before. I was an altar boy. We kind of all were altar boys in beautiful El Cajon at St. Peter's Catholic Church.
Go Eagles.
Go Eagles. Okay, so I'm there for altar boy, and you wear that gown, right? Well, let's just say there's not a tailor there saying, "Hey, let's make sure Al has the right gown on." So it's way too long. So there's a good chance you're going to step on the gown. Well, when we go out, there's a moment of mass, and you're going to go down the steps. And as you go down the steps, there's probably 3-4 steps, and you're right in front of all church, Sunday mass, 10 a.m. Everybody's there, right? I'm going down the steps. I step on my gown.
Oh, man.
Did you go
My feet
down?
are caught.
Did you have
popped.
the cross or the incense thing or anything?
Luckily, I wasn't holding any of that stuff.
Okay.
I'd have burnt the whole place down. I go down, and my grandma, who back in the day used to sit front row, like she had season tickets or something. These were her seats.
Courtside seats.
She's the Jack Nicholson of your church.
Courtside. Yeah, she had season tickets through the website, the whole thing. I
Jaws at the priest.
I just fell in front of the whole church, and then my grandma's reaction was, 19 terms used to, oh my God, the heaven on earth, all this. And then I just got up and kept going. The other altar boys thought it was the funniest thing ever.
Of course they did.
2 of them got kicked out during mass because they couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, that's on me, guys. That's on me.
Em?
I am sure that I have embarrassed myself, but it just nothing really comes to mind. I know I guess I've cried in like public places, especially when I was a kid. I cried because I got like a spelling bee answer wrong, and I was on stage.
What was the word?
I want to say it was like ostentatious.
Okay.
I got that wrong, and I was like in 7th grade or whatever, and I got it wrong. And then I also think I cried when Jake Hoppel beat me for secretary, and they
Jay's
announced it.
taking some on this show.
Yeah.
He keeps coming
I'm
back
using
to
his
it.
real name, guys.
There you go.
Speaking of words, did you guys see the mic'd up version of the Dolphins? He's trying to say camaraderie. But he says, oh, yeah, like, I've never had this camaraderie. He says it all weird. And they're like, the what? He's
Who
like,
said that?
It was Tyreek Hill.
Oh.
And then Tua goes like, do you mean camaraderie?
He's like, yeah, how do you say it again? Camaraderie, bro. That's what you say.
I tell you, in 4th grade, spelling bee, October. So I was like, oh, got it. October. October. And then she goes, wrong. And I'm like, huh? And next person goes, and this girl like even looked at me. She's like, capital O.
Because it's a pronoun.
I'm like, I'm out because of this. Nobody else got one of those. I got one of these. I'm out. I still remember 4th grade as if it was yesterday.
I was mad about this too yesterday. So I went to trivia yesterday.
The hell is that?
You got hosed.
You did.
I'm on your side on this one. That teacher didn't
I'm
like
you're
you.
racist.
And
I just was making up stuff. For all I know, the other girl was Middle Eastern too.
I went to trivia yesterday, and one of the things was like you had to match this logo. They took away everything to like the beer brand. Okay, so we got it all right, and one of the things I guess we got it wrong. So it was Bush. We put Bush Light instead of Bush, and they said,
"Come on, guys,
Bush Light is not right." And we're like,
"Come on, guys,
kidding me?"
I'm more offended by Slee's capital O
Most
because
ridiculous
is
thing ever.
Coors and Coors Light the same? Is Bud and Bud Light the same?
Okay, Coors and Coors Light is pretty similar, but okay, I guess I understand. But Bush and Bush Light, have you seen their logos? They're not that different.
I honestly don't know if I could recognize those.
Okay.
Yeah, so you may be right, but like Coors is yellow,
but like
Coors
Miller
Light
Miller
is
Light
silver.
was one of them, so we had Miller Light instead of Miller.
The champagne of beers.
Yeah, of course.
That always made me want to. Came in a clear bottle and it said the champagne of beers. I'm like, that sounds like fun. Plus, my grandpa liked Miller High Life in the long, skinny bottles.
Yeah.
Great.
Have you had the one where you put Aperol in it and a little bit of something like a lime or something? So it's they have like an Aperol spritz, but they did an Aperol with a Miller High Life. It's like a summer drink. Try it.
Did you have it?
I haven't had it because I don't love Aperol.
Yeah, it's
but
a little.
If you like Aperol, it might be something you
I'm
want to try.
lukewarm on it at best, but you have my attention. You have
I'll
my
send
attention.
you it.
Okay, I'll give that a shot. All right, back to what we were talking about, Sliwa. Whether or not the Dodgers, because they're pitching a bunch of youngsters, do they have pressure? Does it go right back to the way it's always been when they start on Saturday? It's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
All right, guys, listen, if the fedora's coming on, if the Laker fedora is coming on, something serious is going on. Lakers Media Day coming up this Monday. Of course, I'm excited. I know everybody's excited. It's all presented by BBGO. This is the rundown here. It's going to be live at the UCLA Health Training Facility out in El Segundo. It starts at 10 a.m., and then we're going to start interviewing the players and the coaches at 11 a.m. Comment below what questions you want us to ask. If they're good questions, I'll take them. If they're bad questions, I'll give them to Travis. Make sure you tune in next Monday, all presented by BBGO.
LA's mega sports station, 710 ESPN, home of hashtag funny people.
Yeah.
If I were seeing me, okay, I'm not encouraging anybody else to do this, but if I were seeing me, I would be making a lot of Kool-Aid Man jokes right now. I'm just saying.
Like this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Oh, yeah. Huh?
It's Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa. Travis and Sliwa.
But do you think it's the right move? Do you think it's the right strategy?
No. Live from LA Live on 710 ESPN.
What time is The Golden Bachelor tonight, Em, and what are you doing for it?
I need to check about that because I get always confused by when it airs on the West Coast, if it airs at 5 p.m. or if it airs at 8 p.m. And so you need to check that out. My plans are fluid. But
are you going to like a watch party, or do you like to observe this privately?
I think actually this one is going to be changed because some material circumstances changed with my friend's plans. So my friend who was going to watch it with me ends up having to babysit a dog in San Diego. It's a whole thing. So I might watch this first one.
Got a lot of follow-up questions on that, Al.
I will have to watch this one solo.
Okay.
But then going forward, we're going to go watch it all together and probably come to my place, make some, we usually do some sort of like themed drink, have like some bubbly,
Sure.
have some chocolate, some fun stuff.
A Miller Lite Aperol Spritz.
Yeah,
for instance,
exactly.
Right? Em, don't answer this. If Emily's watching The Golden Bachelor by herself, does she yell at the TV when she sees something she doesn't like?
100%.
Jorge, do you think that
100%.
she yells at the TV?
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing? Yeah.
Em, are you a by yourself yell at the TV person?
Only for sports.
Only for sports.
I think that's only for sports should I have like a reaction. But I do like to text my friends when I get through something. So like Love is Blind, for example, last weekend on Friday, there was some crazy stuff that went down on Love is Blind. And I was just like, is anybody else watching this?
Well, that's the thing. You got to get the reaction from someone else. Otherwise, to
It
validate
all
your...
bottles up in my head.
Right. And to validate that was stupid, right? Or that was awesome. You need someone
like
to
you're
validate
seeing this
your
crazy
experience.
person just like I am. Again, if anybody's watching, tweet at me. But Lydia, man, because Lydia is a crazy hurricane. So again, for people who don't watch, she is someone who has lied and she has a lot of emotions. She just wants to be loved, and I'm just curious to see if anybody has the same opinion about me about that.
So with the Golden Bachelor, Al, I because our machines are always listening now, because we talked about it on the show yesterday or the day before, I had 38 Golden Bachelor stories in my feed this morning.
Sure, of course you do.
And apparently
It's also premiering tonight, so it's being pushed.
Perhaps, but like detail in the headlines that I like. For instance, I know that he has hearing aid pride.
Yes.
Like, okay.
He doesn't want to be called a silver fox.
He does not.
No, he does not.
Why?
I don't know.
You have to
that
find
was
out.
just in that was the headline as well.
Find out tonight. But it's like, okay, this is not.
My feeds are going to be everything about the Catholic Church.
Vicious hits.
It's going to be about
vicious hits.
Bush Light.
By the way, you got hosed on that.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. It was.
Yeah, you
it
showed.
was
She was. She's
lot.
like, I got to show you the evidence here.
She did. She did not feel seen or validated with our response. She's
Yeah.
like, no, you don't get it. And now we do. And now you do.
And I just tweeted the picture of my pants ripping. And Twitter.
That's
so
tremendous.
Wait, do you know that there's a SpongeBob episode where he rips his pants? That's all I think about when someone rips their pants. Yeah.
I like to wear my pants loose. So now, in the second they're not loose because of circumstances, those go to the far left side of the closet. If you end up on the left side of Travis's closet, you're never coming back. That's like the graveyard of pants that start with a 3.
We all have.
The worst part is I'm on the road. Like they ripped, so next day I'm at Ross or TJ Maxx, wherever I can get.
It's your only option.
Exactly.
I always have. There's always. I think we all have like a collection of clothing where you're like, that one doesn't fit very well. No problem. No problem. I'm going to get into it. And it just sits there for like 3 years have gone by. I'm like, that sweater goes up to your belly button. Get rid of it.
I remember I wore a soccer jersey, and then Travis was like, that's nice, but I think it needs help trying to fit in your body.
Yeah, looked like his little brother's soccer jersey. It's like, dude, you should.
Medium.
Yeah, did they not have it in your size? Like, what? Why is that the choice you made right there?
Did you see? I just saw recently. I think Tatum just went on one of Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart does this thing
Jason
on
Tatum?
YouTube. Jason Tatum.
Okay.
Kevin Hart does this thing on YouTube, and I think it just might be YouTube. It's presented by Old Spice. They both go in the cold plunge, and they have the conversation. He's done it with everybody, right? Mayweather, all the athletes. And Tatum, who's very well known for his son being at all the games and everything else. I forget his son's name right off the top of my head. But he's like, hey, my son wanted to give this to you. It's his jersey. And Kevin Hart's like, that's not cool, man. His son's like 5 years old, something like that. He's like, that's not cool. But then you see Kevin Hart just putting it on. He's like,
it fit perfect.
And he's like, well, tell him thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, Jason Tatum is what, 6, 8, or 9?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So his 5-year-old son is probably not a small kid. It's probably a decent-sized jersey. Kevin Hart is diminutive, I believe is the correct way to say that, right? He's short. He's a short guy.
Yeah.
So probably, if anything, is probably a little room to grow into.
Deuce Tatum. But
Tatum.
I just thought it was the funniest thing. He's like, that's jacked up that you brought that. And he starts putting his eyes on, we'll tell him thank you.
All right. So last season, the Dodgers got eliminated by the Padres, and this isn't working again, so I can't play my super fun season drop. But
super fun season.
And I said to you at the time, I'm like, look, until they get back to where we start this over again, I'm going to watch the games. I'm a Dodger fan, whatever. But we're there. The Dodgers will open the playoffs a week from Saturday. We don't know who they'll play. Super fun season. There it is. They will play the best of the remaining teams, right? So if Milwaukee wins, they will play Milwaukee. If Milwaukee's out and Philly wins, they'll end up playing Philly. They're going to play the best remaining team. The Dodger season has been what you described out. Just they've had guys drop out. They've had young players step up. They've had all these different things. And they're going to win probably about 100 games, right? They're 3 short with 5 to play or whatever it is.
I think
2 short, I believe
2
now.
short with 4 to go.
4 to play.
Yeah.
So they got a really good chance to win 100
it.
games for the 3rd year in a row, which is really extraordinary. But I got to tell you, as much of house money as there is because of the pitching, because they didn't go in huge on free agency, because they were, clearing the decks for Ohtani or whatever, however you want to characterize it. When Saturday rolls around and it's 0-0, the pressure on the Dodgers is going to be enormous to win that game. It's going to be enormous to win that series because all of the preamble to this is fun and it's unexpected, but the fact of the matter is you are a really good team. You got the first round bye. You got the 3rd or 4th best record in the major leagues, and now is when it matters most. And if they don't win, the noise, in my opinion, is not going to be, oh, hey, they weren't supposed to be there in the first place. It's going to be, it happened. You won 100 games and you're out again.
Let me tell you why I think it's different. I think it's different because let's just play out this scenario. Let's just play out let's say they're eliminated in the first round. Let's say they got the Brewers in the first round and they're out in 5 games. Game 5 is at Dodger Stadium and they lose. I think there's also going to be a lot of people, let's say the youngsters just don't come through. Let's say Bobby Miller has a bad start in his first game and he gave up 4 runs and he only was able to go 4 innings. And then Sheehan has moments where you look at him and you're like, man, this guy looks like the moment's getting to him. Or Pepio has a start where, whether he starts or he doesn't, has an outing. Everyone after the series is going to say, well, what were you expecting to happen? They didn't have Bueller. Kershaw wasn't healthy.
Can I stop
Julio's
you right there
not
real quick?
there.
Because what I'm expecting to happen is what happened for 6 months. You guys found a way to win games. This isn't where these guys just had to show up in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. This has been the season. They've had to ham and egg this thing virtually the entire season. And just saying, if they backdoored it in, if they were the last team in, and then sure, it's like, hey, it was a dogfight all season long. They've been the best team in the National League, or the second best team in the National League for 6 months. Mm-hmm. So to say, well, you guys, you've been the best team, and you've been the best team with these players. So that's why I think all the pressure swings back to them, because it isn't you snuck in the back door. You've been really good all season long.
Maybe this has something to do with it as well. Maybe it doesn't. The way the Dodgers lost last season, you have 111 games. You got your guys lined up. You got the players that you feel very comfortable with going into the postseason. But then there was, they can't get a clutch hit if their life depended on it. There are guys that all season long were delivering, and now you could just feel they're tense. The bats are tight. They're gripping the bats too tight. If they lost because Mookie and Freddie couldn't come through and they weren't clutch, and you had one out, guys on second and third, and they weren't bringing guys in, I think that's a little bit different of a story. But if it's the young pitchers just were not ready for the moment, and the competition that you had in the postseason was a lot different than the competition that you played in the regular season, and the pitching that you were going to face in the postseason was going to be a lot different than the regular season, I think that's just a more traditional, if that's the right way to put it, a more traditional way to lose. Last year, it was so many different elements that it was not just you had all the talent, you had 11 games. You had also a lot of guys that weren't coming through.
You're right.
Were coming through during the regular season.
Doesn't the entirety of the last 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, doesn't that count in all of this? Because if this were, it's the Angels, that the Angels got into the playoffs with a patchwork rotation, and they weren't supposed to be there, and they got in, and it's like, hey, it just kind of fell apart. It's like, hey, man, what are you going to do? They always fall apart.
Okay, can I?
And maybe it's the reason is a little bit different this time. Maybe the players that falter at the moment are not the same players that have faltered at other moments, but it's like, really, again, we just won. Think about it, Slee. They're going to win 100 games in a row for the third year in a row.
Yeah.
And in the scenario that we're talking about, maybe they're out before the World Series. That's not just, hey, we had young pitchers. That's just the continuation of the story of them coming up short.
If I simplify it here, would you be more surprised that the Dodgers made the World Series or did not make the World Series?
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
I think they're going to win the World Series. I think those guys are ready to go do something incredibly cool. I think I'm incredibly optimistic about them. I think that Freddie and Mookie have gone to a level that you don't see very often. It's not going to be – Atlanta's awesome. Baseball's weird. That baseball likes weird stuff. The gods that I truly believe in like weird stuff. That this is the team that finds a way would be so baseball of the whole thing. And maybe I'm just fanning out. Maybe I'm just being optimistic because I want my team to win. That offense, as deep as it is, that pitching staff, as flexible as it is, it's inexperienced, it's green, it's unknown, but you really the only two guys that are locked into roles are Kershaw and Miller. Everyone else could pitch at any point in any of these games. I think there's almost an odd advantage in that. I really do think they're going to win the World Series. I'm very optimistic to see how those guys. Now, I could be dead
can I
wrong,
ask you a question?
But I really like
30
this.
days ago, did you feel that? Or
No,
was it the pocket of these last 30 days?
They've been trending in the right direction.
Which is, by the way, that's where they're sitting today, to me, is a much bigger surprise than I thought 30 days ago. So the fact that they're sitting here and they're a game back from, I think, Baltimore of the second best record in all of baseball, one game back or second best record in the NL. I am surprised that they're here because of what's happened over the last 30 days. I'd be surprised that they made the World Series. And the reason why I wanted to simplify it like that is because my expectations for the Dodgers coming in, they're dangerous, they got bats, their pitchers look like they're trending in the right direction at the right time. Yes, they're inexperienced, but I'd be surprised that they're representing the NL.
Let's try Steve in Los Angeles. Steve, you're on with Travis Lee. What's going on, Steve?
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, listen, I'm a huge Dodger fan, right? But I'm going to say it like this. The Dodgers get shell-shocked in the playoffs because they lose every big game at home. The last game, 2017, Game 7, our fans didn't bring the energy. 2000 against Washington, same thing, Game 5, didn't bring the energy. Last year, Game 2 at home, we lost. Then we went to San Diego, and we were shell-shocked because their fans are so crazy. Unless Dave Roberts is pumping the fan noise or the Dodgers are wearing earplugs, they get home and something happens. Our fans just don't step up. We're that crowd that comes in the third and leaves in the seventh. It's been said for years. We don't bring it like other people bring it, and now we're complacent because we've been there every single year, and I think that's a problem. If you look at the Dodgers, they lose. When we won the World Series 2020, where were we? Where were we? We were in Texas. There was no home fans. There was no road fans. It was just a smorgasbord of the COVID.
All right, Steve, I want to jump in there right there.
You got to leave in the 6th because the 7th is too late. Now you're pushing it here.
The Dodgers have the best fans in baseball.
Yeah.
The Dodgers have arguably the greatest home environment in all of the major leagues.
You can have nervous fans.
You can have nervous fans, sure.
You can have Darvish giving up runs out the gate in Game 7 of...
I was just going to say, the reason the energy in Game 7 happened is Darvish got his head kicked in before you'd had your first bite of hot dog. That's
You're
what
going to
happened.
tell me that the vibe doesn't change based off of that?
Of course it does.
The Padre Game 2 last year, is a close game the entire time. Padres actually, I think it was Cronenworth hit a home run. Manny hit a home run. That there was also the nervousness of we might lose Game 2.
I get the nerves, and what Steve's saying and what you're saying, it exists. And when it starts to teeter, I do think there's a little bit of ripple of, oh no, not again. I do think that's Dodger fans are awesome. Dodger fans show up. That ballpark is filled almost every single night. They're enthusiastic. They're decked out in gear. They're ready. You do not see at Dodger Stadium what you see at SoFi. You do not. You know what I mean? You do not see at Dodger Stadium when the Yankees come to town. Where in Angels,
Dodgers went to the Red Sox. Remember that?
I was just going to
series?
say,
Dodger fans travel, which in baseball never happens.
Really, the way to gauge. I mean, yesterday is a perfect example. There was nobody for the Rockies Dodgers other than Dodger fans. We've seen, what was it? Was it last year? I can't remember. It always sticks to me. The Walker Buehler walking off the mound and coming out, and it was I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
I don't think that's their issue.
I don't either.
I think
the issue is that the players get tight. I think the fans can kind of
There's
feel
a
that.
nervousness, sure.
You and I, when we were at the Padre Dodger game last year, the one that they did win, you could feel it. Dodgers went out 5-0, and the Padres started to chip away, and you and I looked at each other like, this does. You were like, it's not over yet, and I'm like, I know it's not, and you can feel that energy start to change. And I do think this is where the young players, they don't have that experience of that negative energy. They don't have the experience of, oh boy, here we go again. I'm just going to throw this next pitch at 100 miles an hour and try to hit my spot. And they've been hitting a lot of spots. It's a long shot, or at least relative to their other shots, but I think they're in a pretty good spot. I really
It's a unique situation.
I love
and you
it.
said this from the beginning. You said this. You've already had all the, hey, this is set up perfectly, and it hasn't panned out. So why not have something that's not set up perfectly and see what happens?
People want to talk to Em about Lydia, whoever that is. We're going to do that. Plus, we're going to talk about Dame Lillard. By the way, jerseys already in the team store in Milwaukee. What is this all? When it's all said and done, what does it mean for the Lakers? That's coming up. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
An arrow pointed at who assumed it was greater. Amazing what I get in return for this labor. I continue leaving trails, but won't be for the Blazers. To the fans, man, I love you. It's unconditional.
I like that one.
Reasons for me leaving the city's nothing typical. So it's imperative not to believe.
Little Damian Lillard action right here.
No.
By the way, he is very, very natural in hip hop. I mean, it's so natural. Yeah,
Right, Travis?
I joke around, Jorge. I joke around about this. Sometimes you hear athletes and they're trying to, they're joking around doing whatever.
You had this conversation yesterday.
He
I'm like, why
is
is
so
it,
natural.
How is it that basketball players want to be rappers and rappers want to be, basketball players? It's just
you always want
fun.
the thing that you don't have, right? But good joke because
you
you're right.
Nas's crossover.
But here's the thing. Here's what Emily's like, right, Travis? And that's not my lane. I don't know it well at all. But I also think if you just gave me a couple, 3 or 4 different tracks and said, which one of these is not the pro, I think I'd be able to tell you.
Yeah.
Unless it was Dame. Dame sounds like a pro. He sounds like that's
calm,
what he does
cool,
for a
collective,
right.
flow, pace,
That's what
the
he
whole
does.
thing. Yeah.
Where sometimes, like Shaq, for instance, I know he has like a platinum record and stuff, but it sounds like a basketball player rapping.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong. I don't know. But that sounds like somebody that does that for a living rather than something they do for fun.
Yesterday was kind of crazy. That was a cool moment where we've been talking about this. I was so sick of the story. I'm like, just trade him to Miami for the love of God. I don't want to read another article or something. The fact that he got traded and was to the Bucks.
The Bucks, yeah.
Kind of threw a whole wrench in yes, I guess you could say the entire thought process of what we thought.
It's exactly what I hope starts to happen.
What do you mean?
That pendulum that, go back 20 years.
Okay.
Maybe 25. The teams decided who went where and played with who. The general manager, the team president, the owners were in charge of deciding, we're going to have this player, we're going to trade that player, we're going to acquire that player. It was entirely on the side of management. And over the course of the last 10 years in particular, we've seen it swing almost all the way to the other side where players say, I don't like it here, get me out of here. And not only get me out of here, but I only want to go over there. And we're seeing the player empowerment era, which generally speaking, I don't have a huge problem with. But what I haven't liked and what felt like it started to swing a little bit back towards the middle was how Portland handled this.
Yeah, you kept highlighting that.
Kevin Durant was in Brooklyn, signs a new deal, and then immediately says, I want out of here. Well, you got 4 years
Well,
left
that's
on
with
this
him getting paid for 1 year. Remember, he was recovering and didn't play a game.
Like, I signed you. You're not committed to me at all the second you wanted out. And so Portland did that thing. All right, look, we're going to respect you. You've been a good partner of ours, a good teammate to ours. We're going to try to do it, but we have to get something out of this too. And they did. And they got the player what he ultimately wanted, which is an opportunity to go win a championship. Now, maybe not in the city that he wanted to do it, but with a pretty darn good team in Milwaukee and with Giannis.
Milwaukee's a great city, guys.
It is.
Custard.
It's
I was talking about the custard
and
yesterday.
the sausages and everything else. But this kind of seemed to work out for everybody, and it worked out because they were patient. Well, they didn't just jump because I want out of here. It's like, we'll do it when we're ready to do it.
I'm kind of in the middle on this because I don't mind when a player says, but it's got to be specific. I don't mind when a player says, I can't do it here anymore.
Sure.
I just want to freaking win, and I got these clowns running this organization. I'm watching all my peers and my friends compete for a championship, and here I am busting my butt. I know they're paying me. I get that, but there's also a lot of other players around the league that are getting paid and competing for an NBA championship. I like when they use – the reason why Damian Lillard is a Milwaukee Buck today – I don't think it's because of what Damian Lillard told the Portland Trailblazers. I think it's because Giannis, a star who already has a championship, sat back in 2 different, publications, whether in the New York Times or a podcast, and said, I'm not playing here just to win 1 championship. And they listened to him. I like player empowerment when it's used like that.
Yeah.
I'm the best, the biggest, the baddest this franchise has ever had. I brought you a ring. Unless we're competing for a championship, I might walk out that door and go to one of these other franchises.
I don't mind you asking to go somewhere else, but I do mind you asking where I want to go. I don't want to be here anymore. Okay, let me see what I can do.
Yeah, that's not up to you.
But
yeah, you're right.
I will
that
only go
part
over
I'm okay
there.
With.
I don't love that. And I really don't I don't want to be here anymore. Well, you just got here. You just signed a 4-year deal. Like, give me Lillard was there for 11 years. Hey, guys, giving you 11 years. I've given you as much as I can give you. I got it. That's a fair request.
And it seemed mutual.
Yes.
That was a very...
They're ready to move on.
You know what? We've had a great run. I'm going to move on. I'm going to start dating again. You should start dating again. That's kind of what they did.
I have no idea what this means, but I'm excited to find out. Okay. Let's go to El Segundo and JD. JD, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up, JD?
What's up, guys? How y'all doing today?
All right.
Hey, I just want to let y'all know Emily and I are kindred spirits. We love all of the same shows and food, man.
I love that. Thanks,
Okay.
JD.
What's Lydia's deal?
Lydia's half tilt. She's about crazy, and I'm just waiting for the next couple of episodes to show her true character.
Yeah, so, okay, Lydia is certifiably insane. So she'll say stuff that is to one person, say something to the other person. So the whole backstory, again, sorry if you haven't seen the episodes, this is going to be a spoiler alert. But she had a past with another guy that's in the pods. So Lydia and Uche used to date. Then Uche hits it off with Aaliyah. And then Lydia gets up with Aaliyah. It's like, oh my God, you're my best friend. We're like twins. We're so similar. I love you so much. To Aaliyah. And Aaliyah's like, oh my God, we're best friends. And Aaliyah finds out that Lydia used to date Uche, and it's like, what's happening? Wait, JD, you're right.
JD, I swear
crazy,
if you
right?
understood what she just said, I
do.
Oh my God, unbelievable.
I wholeheartedly agree. Let me ask you this, Emily. Do you think it was a setup at the beginning, or do you think that she naturally liked Aaliyah?
Okay, I think that Lydia, once she realized that Aaliyah was into Uche, is trying to get back into Uche's life by being friends with Aaliyah. Because Lydia is kind of like the crazy that wants to get back into Uche's life, because I think that Uche and her, she was much more serious with Uche than I think that he was reciprocated in that. And that she has this feeling that she wants to stay in his life. Because also, Lydia will go to Aaliyah and be like, oh my God, like, did you know his dog is this and his mom is this and he has this car? Isn't that crazy, JD?
Giving way too much information.
Right. And Aaliyah's like, I needed to be out of this.
How do you feel about Uche grilling Aaliyah about her past and her cheating on her ex-boyfriend and then waiting to tell her about the whole Lydia situation?
About that, JD, I think that I would be okay with Aaliyah lying, but Uche kind of was really mean back to her, kind of just like was very judgmental when he has his own skeletons in his closet and he wasn't being very honest either. So I think Uche has problems, and I think Aaliyah, if I was her, I probably wouldn't have told the whole truth. I commend her for telling the truth because that's hard to do, but I think that his response back to her was very inappropriate, I think.
Well, let's keep in mind he is a lawyer, so.
You're right, JD. Yeah. So this has been Love is Blind talk.
Here's what I take away from this. JD, thank you very much for the call.
Gracias.
I'm pretty sure JD and Emily just made all that up. I think that was an attempt to see whether or not we would bite, Slee.
Yeah,
I think that was all just.
Whose side are you guys on?
That's
Uche,
actually
Lydia, Aaliyah?
That's actually.
I like Uche.
The thing that made most sense of what you just said. The whole everything else
ruse.
didn't make sense. That's the only thing that made sense. I got a feeling JD is going to be calling again.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
please.
We'll be besties.
Look, there are certain things that Emily lights up for. There are certain things where you can just tell that it's like there are things, Emily, that you are informed about, but I can tell that you're not deeply passionate about. That was in the latter category. Yeah. This was
because none of my friends are watching.
And passionate.
I haven't been able to talk. So me and JD are best friends.
You and JD should exchange numbers.
Yep.
You can text each other and talk about Lydia and Uche or Uche. Who's the other person? Who's the third person?
So it's Lydia, crazy. Aaliyah, sensible.
Okay.
Uche.
Uche's the man.
Uche is the man, and he's the lawyer who's kind of studied and kind of was very judgmental of Aaliyah and her past.
What else you want to know, Slee?
I think I got it.
Lydia is half tilt. She's about crazy, and I'm just waiting for the next couple of episodes to show her true character.
And he's right. He is spitting facts right there, JD.
It's tremendous.
For a second there, I thought JD was still on the line. Did not know that was, and just was going to stay on the line for
a
couple
more shows.
Remember Primo? From the morning show, he would call in and we would play. That's going to be our new Primo.
That's Primo. That is exactly Primo.
Call him whenever you want, JD.
JD might be Primo. He might just change his name for a different show. Like he's going to call us another time, and he's going to have a third name along the way. Good job, JD. Thursday Night Football has a new home, and it's the 909 Sports Bar at Yamaval Resort and Casino. Join Sedano, Cappy, DeMarco Farr, and producer Lindsay tonight.
And happy birthday, producer Lindsay.
That's right,
it's for
Lindsay.
her birthday
That's
bash.
right.
Birthday.
It is her birthday bash. Happy birthday to producer Lindsay. A party, party. We'll be giving away $1,000 tonight, 4 to 7 p.m. at the 909 Sports Bar. Win cash and watch football with that whole crew. That's a good crew. Sedano, Cappy, DeMarco, producer Lindsay, and I believe Morales, right?
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, there you go. It's quite a crew.
The whole crew right
Think
there.
they'll have any fun?
I think they're going to have a pretty good time.
I think they'll be all right. Factor Caps coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Rotolo Chevrolet. We were talking about, hey, is this guy going to win the MVP or is it that guy? And there's a new MVP every year. Not at Rotolo. They've won Dealer of the Year 13 years in a row. That's what they've been able to do. 13 consecutive Dealers of the Year. And the way you do it is with customer service. It's with selection. It's with the right price. It's by treating people the way that they're supposed to be treated, right? It's by making sure that everything's transparent, courteous, upfront, efficient, so you feel good about it. And that's what they do at Rotolo every single day. Number one in customer satisfaction. Number one in sales volume. Dealer of the Year. Go find out for yourself what all the fun is about at Rotolo Chevrolet.
segments that are TVs. We have our TVs on ESPN, and Nick Saban happened to be on the Pat McAfee show. And I always love seeing Nick Saban in his little dungeon lair at 1 p.m. Alabama time talking about stuff. I obviously didn't hear what he had to say, but I'm just looking at him. But it's one of the worst cameras of all time that's on Nick Saban.
Looks like it's smudged.
And it's like he's literally no lights in this dungeon, dark man cave of a study that he probably draws up all these plays against to defeat every single college football player of all time. But it's very dark and scary. So you would be intimidated to Zoom with Nick Saban in that room. Al, fact or cap?
Fact. I think I'd be intimidated, period. Just the whole thing, right? Somebody that's that great, that successful. Ask somebody like that a question. If you're a reporter, I'm like, I hope he doesn't turn on me.
Because he snips back at reporters, too. He's like, quit asking.
Well, you're the ones that bringing him rat poison. Ask better questions, right?
I'm just waiting. It's like you ask a question like that, and he's like, I don't understand your question. Now I got to ask the question again.
Dr. Evil.
Yeah. Listen, people like that are intimidating because they're so successful, they're so great, and you don't want to screw up.
Trev?
So I want to tell you a quick story. The answer is fact. I would be terribly intimidated by Nick Saban because he's an intimidating guy, even though he's like 5'5". It's crazy. I was watching an episode of Bob Does Sports the other day, which is that golf podcast and YouTube channel that I really like. They were playing in a Pro-Am with an LPGA Tour player. I forget her name, but she's an Alabama alum. Okay, she said when she went on her recruiting trip to Alabama, she went into Nick Saban's office to meet Nick Saban, and they chit-chatted for literally like maybe 30 seconds, and he looks at her. The football coach, Nick Saban, looks at this, at the time, girl who's thinking about coming to Alabama to play golf and says, "We build champions here at Alabama. Do you want to be a champion?" And she's like,
yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It's exactly what she said, Em. It's exactly, she goes, yes, sir, and signed. That's the power that dude has, to just a sentence or two like, this is what I'm about. Do you want to be a part of it or not? I don't give a damn if you do. If you're about me, I'm about you. Come here. It was awesome. So anybody would be intimidated.
That's crazy.
By him.
And speaking of somewhat intimidating people to talk to, we will be at Lakers Media Day on Monday. And so follow along at ESPN Los Angeles this Monday and get the sights, sounds, and tastes of Lakers Media Day presented by BBGO and your official game day snack of Los Angeles Lakers. So one thing you brought up earlier in the show in our pre-show meeting was the Rays. So they delayed their celebration to make the postseason until a day that they had the opportunity to have a day off the day after. So they had the ability to drink as much as they want, to recover fully for a full day without having to play baseball. So this is a fantastic move from the Rays. Travis, fact or cap?
Cap. It's innovative. It's strategic, but it's not particularly fun, right? Like when you win the title or the division or whatever it is that you got to get yourself into the post. Baseball, you could conceivably have like 6 celebrations before you win the World Series. There's a lot of layers to it, but hey, we just got it today. Get the champagne, get the beer, spray it over my head, get the lockers covered in plastic and the goggles and all. Hey guys, I know we clinched tonight, but next Wednesday we're going to get together and we're going to have a party. It's not quite the same thing. It's nice to be able to get wasted and know you don't have to do anything the next day, but sometimes you just got to get wasted.
So I'm gonna go fact on this. I like the move. Now I was gonna try to use Trav as an example, but his answer is perfect for how you played your cards yesterday. You wanted for your anniversary that, hey, we're going to go out to dinner a little bit later in the week. We're going to do it right. I don't have work the next day.
Yep.
Then you ended up ordering a martini and a bottle of wine. So it didn't exactly.
It was the day. We had to celebrate.
It didn't exactly go as planned. But I think we all have done this where you're saying, okay, my birthday's on a Tuesday. Do I want to go big on a Tuesday? Let me wait till Thursday. Like, Thursday's not a bad day because then you only got one day.
Yeah.
Maybe you're waiting till Friday.
Even better Friday.
I don't mind waiting a couple of days. Maybe you still celebrate, go a little lighter, and then go big on the better day.
Jorge?
I'm going to go cap on this one because I feel like there's moments where you got to celebrate right there.
Yeah.
And then. And you got to take advantage of that and ride that wave because once it's over.
For whatever in-season tournament with any soccer team out there.
Yeah, no. You got to celebrate right there and then.
Yeah.
We just won.
Exactly.
My joy is now.
Yeah.
My joy is not next Tuesday.
You can't bottle it up.
Yeah, it's right now. I do want to just clarify one thing. Susan will not watch Bob Does Sports with me. She will watch the NFL's Most Vicious Hits, but when it comes to Bob Does Sports,
she has a line.
She does, but I watch a lot of Bob Does Sports, Lee. I want to go have a few.
Okay,
who are
the characters there? What's the other guy's name?
There's Bobby Fairways.
And he does sports.
There's Cold Cuts, Joey
Cold Cuts, yeah.
And there's Fat Perez, FP.
Oh, another thing, Cold Cuts reminded me, this guy on Love is Blind was just caught on camera eating like a handful of like ham.
Cold Cuts?
Yeah, and I was just like, why did they put that in the show?
That's
but
gross.
It was great.
But by the way,
it was all protein.
Sometimes when you get home, Jorge, you'll get this as you go further through The Sopranos. Coming home and opening up that fridge and just taking a few slices of whatever is in there and popping them in your mouth, it's not a bad way to do it. Not a bad way to do it. 2 winless teams play each other this weekend. There are 4 winless teams play each other this weekend. We're going to have 2 0-4 teams by the end of the week, which means Caleb Williams might have a pretty good idea where he's headed. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Against the spread coming up in just a little bit. The totals, I am in the lead, but we're bunched up pretty good. I have 20. Jorge has 17. Emily has 16. And that's the group that's bunched up.
Oh, and Clinton did well last week, too.
Clinton's not on the list. Clinton
what do I have? What's my total?
You have 4, Slee.
I have really 4.
You had 0 last week.
I didn't even win the...
And you had 1 the week before.
I didn't win the Rams game?
No, the Rams covered. They just didn't win the game. Rams only lost by 3 points.
And what was the spread?
5.5.
5.5.
That's when we made our decision, was on 5.5. At game closing, it was 3. So if you bet the day of the game, it would have been a push.
Yeah.
But when we did on last Thursday,
I got
it was
a tough
5.5.
decision in front of me because I screwed around a little, and now I'm like regretting it. And I went opposite. I went opposite in one of the weeks. And we talked about, you need more data to figure out if this strategy can work or not. But this is also ridiculous to have 4 points at this stage.
Through 3 weeks, you have 4 points. Andy got you 3 in week 1.
Yeah.
You got yourself 1 in week 2.
And then I got myself
the goose egg in
0
week 3.
in my new strategy.
Who'd you take in our survivor pool this week?
So, did I take Philly or I took San Francisco?
Okay.
San Francisco I still have available.
Who
so
did
I took
they play?
Francisco. They got a...
they play Arizona.
I think Arizona, yeah,
They play
home against Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Arizona will just clip off the 2 best teams in the league. Who knows?
Man, did anybody... this is why this is so hard. Because it could happen
so good.
at any point. That's why it's so good. We also got our draft that's coming up, 12:15 or 12:30?
We're doing it at 12. So draft's at 12. 12:30 is our picks.
There you go.
And 12 in honor of the Sunday Fun Day broadcast, which is the Toy Story simultaneous broadcast of the Jaguars-Falcons game in London.
Yeah.
We're going to draft Toy Story characters, but as we would want them on our team. Okay? So which ones we would want on our collection of our team? Play football.
I am excited about that. I know the top 4 or 5 picks. I'm interested to see where the depth of this draft comes from.
Yeah.
I have some... We'll save it for 12, but I have one that I really want.
I have
the top.
some logistical questions. Would you like me to ask them now or later?
I'm still, by the way, getting tweets about not putting Shawn Michaels on my list.
Seriously.
And Zelda.
Or Adele on our top.
And video games. I'm still getting all these.
You don't have to fill up your entire roster of your team, obviously. We only have
That's what I
3
was going
picks.
to ask. Do we all have to pick a
on.
quarterback? Do we all have to pick a defensive lineman?
I think we just take best player available.
I think we take the 3 most important people to you on your team for your character. Okay, so again, if you think that getting a good wide receiver is most important to you, get a good wide receiver. If you think getting a good tight end is good for you,
we can all have different things.
Yes, I think we can all have different things. And again, there's only 3 things that fit on the graphic, right, guys? So that's all we're taking.
What's the order?
Who
picks 2nd, 3rd, and 4th is what I'm asking.
It's picked by Parker. Jorge's first.
Yeah.
Jorge's been first a lot, guys.
Oh,
okay,
relax.
let's keep an eye out for this one.
You know what? He is pretty
kind of
tight.
leaning towards, and his relationship with the guys.
Those guys.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling they're rigging it for him.
All right, so it's Jorge, then Travis, then Emily, then Alan, then Mecca up, then Mec down.
Okay, I'll take 4. I like 4.
4's okay.
Give me those 2.
4 would be better if we had. We don't need to go over it again. Jorge rigged it. Now, Emily's nefarious methods have now translated to Jorge, who's rigging it to go first every week.
And also, we know from the Rams that the offensive line is incredibly important, so maybe you want to take offensive line right off the bat.
Could be. I have a strategy. Now that I know the formatics of it all, we can go from there. Here are 2 games that are taking place this weekend in the NFL. Denver, 0-3, at Chicago, 0-3.
Yeah.
Also, Minnesota, 0-3, at Carolina, 0-3.
Okay.
So at the end of Sunday night, you're going to have 2 0-4 teams. An 0-4 start gives you a really good opportunity to get the number 1 pick in the draft, right? It just that's how you end up with a win or 2 or 3 and pick number 1 overall. We know that Caleb Williams, at least as we sit here at the end of September, incredibly likely to be the first overall pick.
Yep.
We also know that his dad and him have been cagey when it comes to discussing whether or not he would come back to school if a team that picks him that he doesn't like is at the top of the draft. Those 4 teams, when you look at teams, Chicago, Denver, Minnesota, and Carolina, if I'm sitting there as the presumptive number 1 pick and the Denver Broncos are picking first, I don't hate that at all. If the Minnesota Vikings are picking first, I don't hate that at all. if the Chicago Bears are sitting there number one overall,
how could the Bears be so bad?
Run for the hills. Carolina's a little tricky because they just picked a quarterback. They probably don't pick quarterback number one 2 years in a row. Probably not. But we could have an idea of how serious.
Caleb Williams there, and they have the number one pick.
You might, right? I think they might too.
I think they do.
But this is what is so interesting about this. This is a new era where a guy like Caleb Williams
completely different
has the ability, and maybe it's not the best option, but an option to say, I'm not coming. You guys are so bad at what you do. I don't want my career to be over before it even starts. I'm not coming there. I'm going back to SC.
Just a question you got to ask yourself, too. If SC hypothetically is knocking on the door, SC is, you think the University of Southern California doesn't know the value that Caleb Williams brings to the team, the revenue? By the way, next year going into a new conference as well, you're competing. You got some of these NFL teams that are now going to be competing against the top universities in the country that have just as much money as anybody else. I'm not telling you it's going to happen because there's also some risk if you're Caleb Williams.
There is.
Do I have anything left to prove in college football by the time this year is over? We'll wait and see. Let's find out what happens. That's number one.
Is that it, Al? I have something left to prove, or I have nothing left to prove, but I'm not playing for you. Why would I want to go be a Chicago Bear where I know you're going to destroy my career because you guys don't want to surround me with talent?
Yeah.
You won't surround me with the right coaches?
Yeah.
And the reason I know that is because it's been 30 years since you've been good.
The only reason why I think when I talk about the risk is there's risk of getting drafted by that team.
Mm-hmm.
There's also risk of going back into college football, potential injury, something along those lines. There's also risk that you don't get injured, and there's another crappy team that's got the number one pick a year from now. So I think what it's going to do is it will give that player at least a little bit of leverage. It will give them something that they didn't have before. It will give USC an opportunity to say, well, what are they going to pay you there? We can figure out a way because we know we're going to make that money back plus how many because Caleb Williams will be coming back to this university. I just think that I don't know if that's going to go. The Caleb Williams one I don't think is the best example of this predicament. I think it's going to happen. I find it difficult happening with a player like Caleb Williams.
It's the option.
The option is interesting.
Because think about the guys as the top picks in the draft that have really squeezed and gotten what they wanted. Let's go back a little bit. John Elway got drafted by the Colts. He's like, you guys are clowns. I'm out of here. He went and played baseball. He didn't end up on the Colts. He ended up on the Denver Broncos. Bo Jackson said, I'm not going to Tampa. You guys are idiots. I'm not doing it. I'm going to go play baseball. And he did. And then eventually went to the Raiders. Eli Manning had family money to be able to say, I don't want to play for the Chargers. Well, guess what? He didn't. It's having options to make the threat real that get you what you want. I'm not saying that he goes, but the threat of going back maybe makes Chicago say, you know what, he didn't want to be here, and he might go back.
Sure.
Trade that pick. We'll go from 1 to 3, and we'll take somebody else.
This is completely different. It's different for the NFL. It's different for college football. It's the college football NIL that's going to also affect the NFL. We're getting a chance, first time kind of going through this to see it.
I got to figure out if Jorge's going to take Woody or Buzz as his guy, and then I got to go from there. Our Toy Story quarterback / football player / draft coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Golfers, swing into Roger Dunn Golf Shops for all the hottest new fall arrivals from TaylorMade, Callaway.
All right, guys, listen, if the fedora's coming on, if the Laker fedora is coming on, something serious is going on. Lakers Media Day coming up this Monday. Of course, I'm excited. I know everybody's excited. It's all presented by BBGO. This is the rundown here. It's going to be live at the UCLA Health Training Facility out in El Segundo. It starts at 10 a.m., and then we're going to start interviewing the players and the coaches at 11 a.m. Comment below what questions you want us to ask. If they're good questions, I'll take them. If they're bad questions, I'll give them to Travis. Make sure you tune in next Monday, all presented by BBGO.
All right, welcome to our Toy Story draft. All right, we're doing this because there is the Sunday Funday broadcast of the Toy Story simulcast of the Falcons-Jaguars game. And I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see how it works. I hope it's really fun and engaging and that it's great for the kiddos to watch. But we're going to draft Toy Story characters, but as if we wanted them on our football team. Okay, so think of it as fantasy football draft. These are the people that are going to get me the most points if we played fantasy football. All right? So our order is going to be Jorge, Travis, Emily, Allen, back up and back down, 3 total picks for each.
It's a snake draft.
12 overall. All right? Jorge, your first pick.
It's a snake draft. There it is. All right, with the first pick, Jorge picks Woody as my
Woody off the board.
Yeah.
He's a leader.
Woody's Peyton Manning.
Yeah, exactly. So, Woody. Omaha.
Yeah.
Woody and Peyton Manning do look. There's
a lot of foreheads going on Woody. Right? My turn, Em? I also am going to take a quarterback. I need a leader. I need somebody that's bold. I need somebody that's willing to take a chance, that's willing to fail, right? The only way you succeed is by being willing to fail. I'm going to take Buzz Lightyear. Give me Buzz as my quarterback.
Those
because
two were not
Buzz,
a surprise.
Buzz is going to let it rip. I want Buzz.
Not flying, I'm falling with style.
I am going with someone who I think is going to be a gunslinger, who I think is going to be someone that will stretch the possibility. She's hot-headed just like me. She's very similar to me. I want her as my quarterback. We're going to defy the laws of football and having Jesse as my quarterback.
Al, would you like to take it from here?
Good pick.
We had some predictions here, so let's just say Trav's mock draft is very accurate.
So
I said to Al during the break, you guys were in there, he and I were. I said, Emily's going to take Jesse.
I dressed up as Jesse for multiple Halloweens.
I knew I would have been spot on. I knew you were going to take Jesse.
All right, my first pick, number 4 overall. I need a tight end. Tight end's a very important position in the NFL.
Ask Taylor Swift.
Rex to me.
Rex is great.
Is my tight end. Putting Rex.
Oh, really?
I'm putting Rex right on the line.
The tiny little arms, he can't catch anything.
In the slot. We got to hit him in the chest.
Your quarterback needs to be accurate.
We got to hit him in the chest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, otherwise he's not. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Going
good
Rex
choice.
with my number 1 pick. My number 2. Basically, I'm just solidifying my entire defense.
Hey, the hockey puck is still available.
Yeah, hockey puck.
I'm taking the aliens with
the little green men.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm getting basically.
They work as one. I'm assuming.
I'm putting them. I'm putting them everywhere, and I hope that they just kind of disperse amongst my defense.
Maybe
Those are my
like
first
your.
two.
Can I specify as your backfield, or do you want them as your defensive lineman?
My backfield.
Okay, that's your secondary. Is your aliens?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's a interesting choice from you all around, but
I feel like she's judging you,
Slee. Always.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with my CQI, all right? So I'm going to try to do what JB Long says is, CQI is important. It's coach, quarterback, injury. So I'm going to go with a coach as my second pick. And
Don't you dare.
I think that I'm going to go with Stinky Pete as my head coach. He is Bill Belichickian. He is smart. He's always thinking
Tactical.
5 steps ahead. He's dirty, and I want a coach that's dirty to get Jesse. I think he can get the most out of Jesse. I think he can scheme up a bunch of stuff because they've worked together for so long. They've been in that box for years. So I'm going Stinky Pete as my head coach.
So you have 2 from Toy Story 2. Your first 2 picks.
It's definitely the best of the 3.
It's really good. I like it.
You didn't ask that. You just basically asked, those are both from there. And she's like, it's
I
the
feel
best by
like
far.
when you immediately have to defend, I feel like I've hit a soft spot. That's just my psycho analysis right there. All right, my turn?
Of course.
Okay. So I think that taking a coach is a really good idea, but I think my coach is going to be available on the flip, so I'm going to leave it on the board. It's risky. What do you need if you have a quarterback? What did we see with the Rams last week?
You need offensive line.
You need an offensive line. That's right, Emily. Who of the Toy Story characters is an offensive lineman? Give me Ham.
I was going to say Ham is an offensive
Give me
lineman.
Ham as my offensive lineman, right? And little known fact.
Anywhere on the line? Or
left tackle,
okay,
of course. Right? Left tackle is the most important position on the offensive line.
Can he play for the Rams?
I want Ham as my left tackle. And John Ratzenberger, Cliff Clavin from Cheers, voices Ham. He's been in every Pixar movie. He shows up in each and every Pixar movie.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
All right, Jorge, you have 2 picks.
Did I do okay, Em? Are you judging my picks?
Yes, you have good picks.
All right, so I'm going to stick with the offense here. I just want to get as many points, touchdowns, just yards as many as I can. So I'm going to go with Bo Peep, and I'm going to take her as my running back. If you see her on Toy Story 4, she's in the raccoon. Exactly.
Okay.
She's in that skunk, swerving through things.
She'd be like a slender running back, kind of weaving in and out of the defense. She's
not
like
Reggie Bush.
She's not Derrick Henry out there.
No, she's LT.
Yeah.
That's right. And then I'm going to take a wide receiver, and somebody can stretch and get that extra, just length or whatever. I'm going to take Slinky the dog as my wide receiver.
Good choice.
Slinky the dog.
All right, Trav, last pick.
So my bet paid off. I get my coach with my 3rd pick. I think so. When you talk about a coach, what do you talk about? What a good coach is good at what? X's and O's, right?
Yep.
You need to be the X's and O's and to draw up plays.
I know where you're going.
Give me Etch.
Oh!
Give me Etch as my head coach because he can draw the plays up so my man Buzz knows what's going on and my man Ham knows where the defense is coming from.
He can get into that headset really easily.
Absolutely.
They're well coached.
I will take Etch as my head coach.
Interesting. I'm glad that I have my I hoped was going to be here at the end. I'm also going to take a running back. But I am going to take a Derrick Henry-style running back. I'm going to take someone that is extremely difficult to take down because no one can match their size. No one can take them down because they can run all the way down the field. They can catch anything. Beast mode. Big Baby. Big Baby is my choice for my running back, and they will destroy any offense against them.
That's pretty good.
All right, perfect. So last pick, my coach is still available. This last character is similar to a coach that we talk a lot about in the NFL. I think I might be in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes, which is why I'm taking this as my coach. This character reminds me of a coach that coaches here in the local market. A Forky will be is going to be my head coach. And that will round up my team, and that should get me the number 1 pick in the upcoming NFL draft.
Forky was the first thing in the Toy Story universe that made me go, I don't like this movie.
Duke Kaboom?
Yeah, Duke Kaboom was Evil Knievel, right? It's cool, Duke Kaboom, but Forky, I'm like, that's a piece of trash. Like, that's somebody put pipe cleaners on it.
Forky.
Okay, so some other people that I would have drafted if I had the opportunity to, I was thinking about Zurg for my safety.
Okay, I was going to take Zurg as my defensive tackle to go
also
blow up
too.
the quarterback.
Yeah, so I wanted Zurg as my safety because I think, he could blow up the secondary, and he could see it all happening. I also had Huggins as a potential offensive lineman for me.
Which one's Huggins?
Huggins, the pink one from he's the big bad character in the Toy Story 3.
Lots
of Huggins. Sorry. Lots of Huggins
Yeah.
bear. And I would like him as either like an offensive lineman to protect Jesse.
For my defense, I would have taken the Green Army men.
Those are good.
Yeah.
Those guys are
Sarge
good.
also would have been a good coach.
Sarge would have been a good coach. Dave, how about the Barrel of Monkeys to be your O-line? The whole O-line along the way.
They all moved together.
What about Sid?
A lot of characters.
Right? Like Sid, the bad guy in the first one who destroys his sister's toys. Like Sid could have been like a dirty player,
like a linebacker,
like Vontaze Burfict,
yeah.
who's just cheap shotting people.
Sid was on your highlights yesterday on YouTube.
All over the place.
Yeah, he's all over.
Yeah, Sid is Ray Lewis. Sid's doing
Head
stuff.
coach, Mr. Potato Head, could have been a good choice.
Good choice.
I think,
exactly.
Yeah.
I think he's much more like I picture Mr. Potato Head much more like a like an old style head coach, kind of like a
Chuck Noll.
Yeah. But I picture Stinky Pete as my Bill
D-line
Belichick
coach.
Who's the Sean McVay?
Only
you know?
the defensive line.
Etch.
I disagree.
It's
but
all about design, Emily. It's
Okay.
all about making sure that the
disagrees,
people are
bro.
in the right places and making sure that it's not just the personnel. It's putting the personnel in a position to succeed. I didn't do a good job today making sure that our guys are in the right spots to succeed. That whole deal.
There's a ton of characters.
There's a million.
I forgot about.
Yeah.
There's a million. I feel like there's something similar to this we could do at some point with The Simpsons because there's 10 billion Simpsons characters
I've never
too.
watched The
How do you think this would
I
do?
drafted wrestlers though. In my
I understand.
defense.
And okay, Simpsons
So
was
did she,
helpful
and she
to
won the
trivia
whole
last
thing.
night.
Yeah, she'll end up with Homer, Mr. Smithers, and Bart.
Yes,
that's what she'd
It's
end
like
up
I
with.
have no idea. I have
I'll
no
take,
idea.
Homer, is he good?
How do you think this will do over the weekend?
I think people will check it out, and that's
Something
the idea,
sustainable?
right? Probably not.
Like what?
But it's a cute gimmick.
They want to
It's a
do
very
what the
cute
Nickelodeon
gimmick.
crowd got with the
Sure.
with CBS
Slime,
and the ability to get maybe I want to watch it with my kids. But they need like kids on the broadcast because that's what is cool about the Nickelodeon broadcast is like you have kid reporters and
Yep.
the kids can be like I want to be like her or him and they get invested.
And it's a universe that is universally liked. Right,
Yes.
the Toy Story universe is really well liked, so you're going in predisposed to like what you're about to see. And as long as the technology is good enough, I don't know if you'll do it every week, but yeah, it's a fun little thing to do, and it's the right game to do it. It's on at 6:30 in the morning, and if it's not good, you can keep it moving.
Adds just a different story that we don't have around the NFL right now. It'll be unique.
You're going to see some Laker stuff today.
Yeah, we got so. It's kind of a preseason or a you call it preseason presser. So Darvin Ham and Palenka will talk a little bit later today. I think they're talking at 2. I don't know.
BB go bag?
I will tell you this. Usually they put out a good spread over there.
I know. That's why I asked.
At the training facility. But it's not media day, so I don't know, what kind of spread's going to be there.
A little something.
That'd be a little
Chips
something.
or something. Coke. Something.
Oh, no, they'll have something.
Yeah.
They're
Coca-Cola.
good about that. They use a lot of their partners.
Oh,
So their
yeah.
partners will bring in stuff. The BB Go, the Wing Stops, all that stuff.
BB Go, I'm very excited to run back what we did last year. That was amazing.
You know what I could imagine is, let's just say you made it out there today at 2 o'clock as well.
Sure.
I know you're not going. But
Yeah, don't wait for me.
yeah, I know. The food is set up outside of the court, right? So they got the court where they practice, the facility, got all the banners up there, Genie's office, the whole thing. And everybody goes into that area. I could see you being the only one not out in that area. And you're on the outside, just in line at the food truck, who has not opened yet because they're waiting for all the other media to come, and you're just first in line.
I mean,
Al, put your phone on speaker. Just put your phone on speaker. I'll listen. I could hear.
I know I give you a hard time sometime for not listening, but I feel like you know me now. I feel like you really have a good grip of what I'm about and what's important to me, and you just described it
You're
perfectly.
doing a Zoom call? You're just from the outside?
Let's do a little Lakers.
Yeah.
Obviously, Dame Lillard is in Milwaukee with the Bucks, and they, at least according to Las Vegas, they're the team to beat going into the season. But we also, of course, need to figure out where the Lakers fall into the hierarchy here. And it feels like they're being moderately disrespected.
And if we missed anybody on our Toy Story draft, if we left anybody off that you think would be a great addition to our teams, call us 877-710-3776 or get at us on X.
Twitter. Come on, don't give him what he wants. Adam. Don't give him what he wants.
I'm just
Call it Twitter. Tweet at us on Twitter.
Okay.
Well, it is starting to happen now where everyone's starting to...
It's starting to happen.
Yeah.
Twitter.
Starting to happen.
Send me your tweets on Twitter, X, whatever. Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
I get a kick whenever I got a hot to spit your bitch, beats and battles.
Okay, so we played Dame earlier, right? That Dame, that sounds like Shaq. Like I can't, maybe it's just that Shaq has such a distinct voice.
Yeah, he does.
That I can't turn the page that it's Shaq. Like Dame just sounds like a musician. That Shaq sounds like Shaq.
You know who else? And they got into a little bit of a beef, I guess, at some point. Marvin Bagley is also a really, really good rapper
good?
as well. Yeah, not that good of a basketball
He got
player.
into a beef with
Dame. Yeah, they both did tracks against each other. Something like that.
I know where I'd go if I were Dame. Like you might have some skills on the mic, but you do not have them on the court.
It's a little bit different.
Is
levels?
Did he go there?
Marvin Bagley was good. I can't remember. This was like maybe a couple years ago. I know Marvin Bagley, when he released his track, was holding a child with Dame's face on it. I was like, well, that's a little aggressive.
Yeah, but does he not know that he's Marvin Bagley? Did no one tell him that? Hey, dude, you're not nearly good enough to do this.
No, he does not know that.
You got to have game like Chris Paul if you want to try something
like
this. This is not a good idea for you.
Yeah, it wasn't Steph versus Dame. It was a little bit different.
We'll come back to Dame in 1 second. We missed one, Slee. This is not good. Neil in Ventura. Neil, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up?
Hey, guys. I was just thinking that Jorge missed, once he picked Woody for quarterback, he should have taken Bullseye as a running back. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good combo.
Yeah.
Or Jesse and Bullseye, honestly. They all have connections.
Bullseye's fast. Bullseye's fast. He's a horse. He can run over people.
Yeah, you're right.
Feels like a miss on our
I'm
part.
still okay with Big Baby.
Big Baby's good, but Bullseye's more iconic, I guess. Like, Big Baby's a little bit of a deeper cut.
Yeah, Big Baby is the Derrick Henry, and then the Bullseye is, I don't know.
Saquon,
yeah. Or Jonathan Taylor.
So he only plays 3 games a year?
Yeah, he gets injured really quickly.
All right.
Well, you can't injure a horse, but yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Hey.
It's career ending with that horse.
It's more than career ending.
Yes.
It's anyway. Well, I don't want to think about poor Bullseye having to do that.
No.
That sounds terrible.
No.
I like Bullseye. The Lakers are good. The Lakers got a little deeper. The Lakers have 2 very high-level superstars in LeBron and Anthony Davis.
Yep.
Are they on the same level as these? Now that Dame is in Milwaukee with Giannis, you got Jokic and Murray. You've got Booker and Durant. Yeah. You've got Steph and is Chris Paul? Is it Clay? Is it Draymond? You've got these other combinations of players. Are the Lakers in that class, or are they the top of the next tier?
Everybody right now, it seems like, to have the Lakers on the top of the next tier. I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem. I think that's properly rated, to be honest with you. I think the Bucks should be one of the favorites to win it all. I think Denver clearly should be one of the ones to favorite to win it all. Boston's a really good team. I'm okay with that. The last team that people are putting on there, the 4th team, the Phoenix Suns, I'm going to go back to this, and they got a lot that they're going to have to prove. That's going to be a really, really good team. They got just incredible talent. Vogel's the coach. How can they put it all together? I'm okay with that. I think there's another tier after that, and I think that's where you're starting to put the Lakers and the Warriors, and if you want to, are the Clippers healthy? Are they going to be in that conversation?
Clippers aren't in the top tier, that's for sure.
That's 100%. But I think that ESPN did. There was a number of different league insiders weigh in on the 2023-2024 favorites. Okay, and this is on ESPN. It came out, I think it was yesterday, today. It was after the trade. Who will win the West? And anybody can pick. Of all the votes out there, Denver got 10 votes, Phoenix got 3 votes, Warriors got 2 votes, Lakers got 0. Lakers did not get a vote. NBA champs, Boston, Denver, Milwaukee, Phoenix all got votes. The Lakers did not get any votes. The only thing I don't like, I hate that the Warriors are the Warriors should not be ahead of the Lakers. That's my own personal opinion. I think that the Lakers and the Warriors, you want to group them together, that's fine. I think the Lakers still have a better team. They beat them in 6 games. They have more size. I think I told you yesterday, they got 7 guys that are 6'8" or above. Okay, they got real length, which is why they beat the Warriors. I got no issue with the Lakers not being one of the title favorites. Actually, I have curiosity in the team as well. My curiosity is Bron will be in his 21st season. That a lot of the players that you got last season, you're bringing back. They had a great run from the trade deadline moving forward. Okay, what's that going to look like on a night-in, night-out basis? I like the team. I'm confident where the Lakers are, but I don't, people I think are, I don't know if anybody's getting upset about it. I think there are tiers, and I want to see what the Lakers look like to see if they're in that tier or not.
I think what keeps them out of it, Al, is one of the things you just mentioned. The reason the Lakers are not in that top tier, the reason they're not in the tier with the Celtics and the Nuggets and Phoenix and Milwaukee. Maybe Phoenix is probably at the bottom of the top tier, but those other ones that we mentioned, their two best guys have real question marks. And not because anybody did anything wrong. LeBron is entering uncharted territory. We've only seen a very small handful of guys play this long. We've never seen a guy play this long and still be the best player on his team. That it's just never happened before, right? Where going into year 21 and 40 years old and not just being in the league and knocking around, but hey, we need you to get 28 a night. We need you to play 35-plus minutes. We need you to be the emotional and spiritual leader of this team every single night. I think he can, but if we start to see a waning of that, I wouldn't be shocked.
You've never seen it.
It's never happened before. Anthony Davis was as healthy as he's been in a really long time towards the end of last season in the playoffs, and that's great, and I hope that's the new normal. But it's not unreasonable to think that there's going to be durability questions about Anthony Davis. Until there aren't, there always will be, and they still are. So at the very top of the league, Austin Reeves as the third best player on a championship caliber team, and he is, but that's a different role than, hey, he's pretty nice. It's very different than that's found money as opposed to, I need you to be that guy every single night. And there are going to be nights where you're going to have to be maybe the best player on the team. That's different. Their question, not that they can't, LeBron could be great, AD could be healthy, Austin Reeves could 100% be up for it. Those are all possibilities, but they're more unsure than, is Lillard and Giannis going to kill it? Yeah. Are Tatum and Brown going to kill it? Yeah. Right? And all of this stuff is subject to injury and all of this other things, but the Lakers have greater variables than these other teams.
I think you could walk into a season saying that, look, our roster is not perfect, but we really like what we got. Mm-hmm. We think that we got the depth. We think we got the right players. They got such a unique thing, which we haven't seen with LeBron and Anthony Davis in a long time. They got a lot of guys between the age of 25 and 27. Like they can be the workhorses in an 82-game season. Got some younger players. They got the Max Christies of the world, a couple of the rookies. I think you can walk into a season saying, okay, I'm not sure if we're better than Denver. I'm not sure if we're better than Phoenix, Milwaukee, Boston, but I like what we have. Let's see it play out a little bit. What's it going to look like when you're 20 games in? And I know this has been something, and I don't want to, I keep reiterating this because I think it's really important. I'm not telling you that the Lakers should go trade away 2-3 of these guys by the trade deadline. But what I'm telling you is they have the flexibility to do it if it's needed. So if you're 25, let's say you're 30 games in and the Lakers are 20-10. And you're like, okay, they're good. But you can still say, are they better than those other teams? Where is there a move that you can make that can help improve your roster, whatever the case? I think that's how they're going to take the approach. Let's walk into the season. They only played 25 games together before you got to the playoffs last year, and I think that's something that's going to be equated.
I'm curious. I'm curious to see how it shakes out. I keep coming back to what we talked about at the end of last year, and I think the Lakers caught a break in the best possible way, that they landed in the seed that they did, and they took the path that they did to run into the Nuggets. Because even though they got swept, none of those games felt like they were getting their ass kicked. It's like,
no,
okay,
they weren't. Yeah.
Nuggets are better, and the Lakers are going to have to do something. They're going to have to get hot. They're going to have to knock down a shot. But it
the
wasn't
biggest
a
win was by 7 or 8.
Yeah,
it was something like that.
It was never they got no chance against this. All of those games felt competitive deep into the game. If that had happened in the first round, if they lose to Minnesota or they start as the 8th seed or whatever, and they are swept in the first round, we're not having this conversation. But to your point, let it cook. Let's see what it looks like. Let's get a little deeper. Let's add a guy like a Vincent, right? Let's add this, but let's not do anything super big and bold. Let's let this thing cook. I think that worked out really well for them because they are good, because they do have the pieces that fit together. Age is a question. Health is a question. And who plays when, what, who, or how is always a question. But I think if they go out in that first round, they probably do something more drastic than what they ended up doing, and I'm glad that it didn't work out like that.
They have so many guys that are – when I say they got definitely 10 players that are going to get rotational minutes, potentially 12. You don't need that many players, but if you can't go out there and get, if it's past LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves, you kind of start asking questions. I think they're in a very interesting situation. But I like their predicament coming into the year. I really do. Think about a year ago, we're doing the Lakers Media Day, and that's when Russell Westbrook is still there. That's when all the questions are still around. Pat Bev's on that team. We're going to walk into this season with a much, much different tone.
Got to stay healthy. Those two guys need to stay as healthy as possible, because if that isn't the case, then everything else is it's cool. But, it's not enough. Your two best guys have to be your two best guys. We'll see how it goes. Venice is our next stop. Chris in Venice. You're on with Travis Lee. Chris, what's up?
Hey, how's it going? Thank you, guys. I walk dogs around here, and you guys always keep me entertained and informed, and I love the show. So I was commenting on the Toy Story thing. You guys, nobody drafted him, but we did talk about it afterwards. Is Sid. I feel like Sid is like a Dit Butkus, just blows things up on defense, just mean linebacker. But one thing that no one said is this guy, he's going to run for 2,000 yards. Nobody can catch him, and that's RC.
Oh, it's a good one.
You can't stop him.
Who does RC control himself? I don't remember.
Well, if you have a good quarterback or a good coach, you can have the coach control RC.
So he's the one with the remote control.
Yeah.
RC's a good one.
Yeah, I think he does have a mind of his own, but I mean, you could probably maybe it's like the little click in the quarterback's helmet. Like, hey, go right, go left. Like,
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate the call. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Shifty.
I do like Sid as a Butkus type middle linebacker who maybe plays a little after the whistle. That maybe the next thing you know, Buzz's arm is torn off. because Sid got his hands on him. He's got a crack in his helmet because
some dirty players out there.
Sid had those fireworks that he liked to stick, in there and blow some rockets, and he had the hammer. Like Sid had some equipment that he could bring out on the field. It's a lot.
Sid had a weird childhood, the way he grew up.
Look, Sid wasn't good. The sister seemed fine.
Yeah.
Sid's sister seemed totally
Maybe
normal.
that was the problem. She got all the attention and the love. And
what about Andy's mom as a good coach, too? Would she have been a good coach out there? She makes tough decisions. She put those toys out on the lawn for the yard sale.
Is she mean enough? I feel that to be a coach, you got to be a little ruthless.
That's true.
You got to be a little just.
Well, she's ruthless by putting these toys into this box. As these toys suck. I'm gonna go put this in here, or put the Wheezy up on top. They
that
don't
might be the most
that,
ruthless.
But she made the hard decisions.
Wheezy.
Maybe she's a front office person.
Wheezy would be. There you go. Wheezy would be a cheerleader.
Well,
right?
She had to cut Wheezy because he wasn't up to snuff.
Yeah, well, he's under the bed. He was back in the corner. He wasn't getting used anymore.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like
shelved.
His usage is poor, so you got to go get whatever you can for him. So actually, honestly, Andy's mom is a great GM.
You win the day for Wheezy's usage is low. That's the best Toy Story football analysis of the day. Our picks against the spread, Slee. I need you to have a good week.
Yeah, come on.
I can't have you be buying us dinner by the week 8. I need you to get.
Well, this is our third year, and still no one's bought anyone dinner.
But no, we're doing it. We have the rules. We'll tell you what they are. They're coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. All right, week 4, our NFL picks against the spread with our confidence points, of course, as well. The points that we have through the first 3 weeks of the season. I have a narrow lead. I have 20 points. Jorge is right on my heels with 17. M's right behind him with 16.
And I'm in the English Premier League.
Early morning Saturdays.
Slee's got 4.
Yeah.
So, look, it's 18 weeks, Slee. We got 18 weeks, 17 games.
All right, now I'm starting to take it a little personal. I'm not doing the data thing is gone.
Jorge, you're batting lead off this time. Okay, you're going first. First game, as we always do, it is the Rams. The Rams are on the road taking on the Colts. The Colts are 1.5-point favorites at home. Who you got?
I like the points on this one, so I'm going to go with the Rams. I don't think they're going to lose 3 in a row, so I'll take the Rams as my 1.
Rams at 1. I am next. I am also going to take the Rams. I think the Rams are going to win this week. I think that they're going to get points, and I think they're going to win. I like it a lot. Not only do I like it a lot, I like it the most. Give me the Rams all the way at the top with number 4, Sleep.
Okay. Well, this is not a data thing, but I think we're a little bit opposite on this one. I think I'm starting to lose some steam with the Rams. Not that they can't just easily come back and kind of change things here. This could be your season on Sunday. But with all that being said, I don't feel confident about the game. I'm going to go Colts with my 1.
Colts at 1, M.
All right, so I am going to go with this whole idea, everything everyone's been saying already. But I think the Rams can't lose this game. This is a game they can't lose. They have to come out of first 6 games at 3-3, and I think they have to do that by beating the Colts here. But there's obviously question marks, but I'm not super confident in it. I have Rams at 2.
Rams at 2. Are we more excited if we want the Rams to win, do we want to see Gardner Minshew or Anthony Richardson?
Honestly, I think Gardner Minshew, because I have watched way too much of Gardner Minshew. He has one good week, and then he has a terrible week, and I think this is going to fall in the terrible week here.
Anthony Richardson can do some stuff that's kind of scary. I think I'll go Minshew as well.
Yeah, he can run on us, and
he can make stuff happen off script along the way. All right, I'm batting lead off here on the next game. It is the Las Vegas Raiders right here in Los Angeles against the Chargers. The Chargers are 5.5-point favorites in this one. The Raiders are bad. They do not look like a good team. The Chargers are impossible to figure out what they're going to do. I still think the Chargers are good, but that doesn't mean anything because they have Brandon Staley as their head coach. So I'm going to take the Chargers at 1 all the way. Forky is going to lead my team to a victory in the 1 spot.
Poor guy.
Chargers at 1, Sleep.
Staley took a shot in our Toy Story draft. I got no confidence in the Raiders, no confidence in the Chargers. I'm with you that I still think they have such a good roster. And every single week you're just assuming, like, all right, I think they're going to turn it around just purely because you got the talent. I'll go Chargers with my 3 here.
Chargers with 3. Emily.
It's a divisional game. It's going to have a lot of it's always weird when these two teams play.
Yeah, that's true.
They always play not their typical way. It's like you said, it's always going to be close. I think the Chargers need to win, and I think they need to beat the crap out of somebody. I think that they have so much offense. They have scored so many points in their first 3 games that I think they're going to score a lot of points. I don't think that the Raiders can match them because they could barely match the Steelers, and the Steelers couldn't score anything either over there. So Chargers, but I'm not super confident. Chargers 1.
Chargers at 1. Jorge.
Yeah, I'm going to go and take the Chargers on this one. I think this is the game where they turn it around. The Raiders, is Jimmy G still out with the concussion?
He was at practice today.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I think the Chargers turn it around here. What do I have left? 3?
2, 3, and 4.
2, 3, and 4. I'll take Chargers as my 2.
Chargers at 2, so the Raiders are not only going to cover, they're probably going to win because all 4
of
us
us
are on
picked the other side.
Chargers.
And it's in L.A. with a lot of Raiders fans out there. So
I thought because we all went, I thought he was going to say, all right, I'm going the other way.
Every time it's a four-way sweep, it goes the other way. All right, Slee, you're first on this one.
Isn't I first? Oh, no.
No, we start at the top different.
I just want to go first.
You go first next. You go first on the final game of the season of the
skipped me. Just completely skipped me.
Maybe the best game of the season. Or the weekend, I should say.
So far, yeah.
Miami, who looks amazing, against Buffalo in Buffalo, who's looked really good after the opener there. Buffalo's actually the favorite here. A 2.5-point favorite at home against the Dolphins. What do you got?
Maybe I'm just I know it was really easy to get off the Bills bandwagon to start the season. Everyone's on the Dolphins bandwagon. They dropped 70. I think we're going to come back to life a little bit. I'm going to go Buffalo with my pick in this one. I I'm going to have to put it at my 4, even though I'm not that confident on it, because I'm even less confident in the next pick. So I'm going to go Buffalo with my 4.
Buffalo at 4M.
Okay, so if this was going to be in Buffalo in November, I'd pick Buffalo. If this was going to be in Miami right now, it'd be more of a slam dunk for Miami, just because I think that the Bills' biggest strength is obviously their weather conditions, and that Miami does not play in that weather conditions all the time. But I think that Miami is by far the highest score. It's the most exciting offense to watch right now. I think they are going to beat everybody until they face a fantastic defense. I'm not sure if the Bills are that defense. I'm going to put Dolphins at my 4.
Dolphins all the way at the top. Jorge.
The Dolphins, the Eagles, and the Niners. They're all undefeated, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think this is the Dolphins' first loss. So I'm taking the Bills as my 3.
Bills at 3. I'm going to take the Dolphins. I'm going to put them at 2. I think that offense is a nightmare. And we'll see whether Buffalo can slow them down or not.
Camaraderie.
The camaraderie or whatever. Yeah, the camaraderie or whatever. Yeah. They're good, right? I'll just go with good. They're tough to stop, and Tua looks amazing. If he can stay healthy, they're going to be a handful. Final game. Emily, you're going first.
Oh, thank God.
We're going to the college game. USC on the road, Coach Prime, Boulder. Colorado gets 21 and a hook, 21 and a half. What do you got?
So, yes. So USC is favored by 21 and a half.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think that it's going to be a closer game than we anticipate. USC always lets seemingly worse teams stick around, and I think that, honestly, at half...
Past weekend was a good example.
I think at half, it's going to be a 3-point game. I think it's going to be very close at half, and then it's going to get wider in the second half. I think it's going to be closer than 21 and a half, so I'm doing Colorado at my 3.
All right, I am going to take SC at 3 because, kind of for the same reason that you said, SC was a 5-touchdown favorite last weekend against Arizona State. 5 touchdowns, okay? They only won by 2. The questions about their defense started up all over again. Colorado could not move the ball at all against Oregon, right? They only scored 1 touchdown. They did not look good. SC is going to score a ton of points, and if they can't stop Colorado, they're in big trouble.
Right.
They're in very big trouble. So I think they're going to be able to do it. I think they have to do it. SC at 3.
And I think one stat to keep in mind of is that Colorado, I believe, allows either the most or close to the most amount of sacks on Shedeur Sanders, and USC has had so many sacks this season. They will get on Shedeur. It just depends on if their secondary can follow up.
Oh.
Simplify this. I got 1 pick left. SC wins. They don't cover. Colorado with my 2.
Colorado at 2. Jorge, you got your 4 left. Which way are you going?
Yeah, SC with my 4.
SC?
Niners, 4. Taking SC as my 4.
We might have to
There's actually a lot of different picks. And this was not a data-built one.
Did you not go
just the Charger one was the
one? Did you not fade everybody's pick?
I was just trying to
the 10-0 week pick. Last week to convince you that wasn't a good idea.
I didn't even give it another opportunity to see if we can get 4 or 5 weeks of a survey.
You need a good week. You don't have to get a 10, but you need like a 5. You need a 5
I need
or better.
double digits, as in I need to get to 10.
So you need 6.
Yeah.
Well, 6 is not easy.
Yeah.
Possible, but not easy. Yeah. The Dump is coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN. The law firm you choose after you've been hurt in an accident might be the most important choice that you make in your entire life. I'm not trying to be melodramatic, but whether or not you have the right representation is the difference between you getting what the insurance company is offering you and you getting what you deserve and you getting what's going to set you up moving forward. That's why the call's got to be to Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-900-0000. You don't want somebody that's just looking to get a settlement to move on to the next one. You want somebody that's going to get the settlement. You want somebody that's going to win the case, because winning, that's what matters, and that's what Sweet James does. And not just winning, but winning big. Win the most when it matters the most, and that's what they do at Sweet James. 98% win rate. Think about that, 98%. Why would you call anybody else other than the best attorneys in America? And that's what they've been awarded at Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-900-0000. It's the call I've made after my family's been in accidents. It's the call I recommend my friends and family to make after they've been in accidents. If you've been hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, call the attorneys at Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION and sweetjames.com.
All right, guys, listen, if the fedora's coming on, if the Laker fedora is coming on, something serious is going on. Lakers Media Day coming up this Monday. Of course, I'm excited. I know everybody's excited. It's all presented by BBGO. This is the rundown here. It's going to be live at the UCLA Health Training Facility out in El Segundo. It starts at 10 a.m., and then we're going to start interviewing the players and the coaches at 11 a.m. Comment below what questions you want us to ask. If they're good questions, I'll take them. If they're bad questions, I'll give them to Travis. Make sure you tune in next Monday, all presented by BBGO.
Yes, it's time for the dump.
I don't know if this counts as an official vote or not, but I think it's more of a very classy way of saying I'm okay with this.
Tip the cap.
Tip of the cap, right. Mookie Betts on his Instagram account just posted a picture of Ronald Acuña with, in giant red numbers, 4070 that says, I hope you all know how crazy this is, with the mind blown emoji right next to it. The only person I shouldn't say Freddie's kind of in there too, but the Mookie Betts is 1A. If you're not picking Acuña, you're picking Mookie Betts. That Mookie weighed in with this, I think tells you where his heart is.
It's respect, right? And I think there's probably such a great mutual respect. And sometimes these athletes, I think for Mookie, who's as good as he is and has accomplished things like winning a World Series and stuff along those lines, individual awards, I think he won it. He didn't. He could look and say, look what this dude has just done. I got all the respect. I know. Look at the stat.
40-70. Look, okay, as crazy as 40-70 is, and it is, Mookie Betts being 5'9" and hitting 40 home runs which is probably is almost as crazy. Aaron Judge looks like he hits 60 home runs.
I know.
Shohei Ohtani looks like he hits 50 home runs. Mookie does not look like somebody that hits 40. He's 5'9". He's strong. I know that.
Like a guy hitting one in the gap, getting a second, maybe stretching it to third. Like that's
dude, it's bombs.
Is Altuve doing that? You know,
dude, it's bombs.
Yeah,
it's absolutely insane. Congratulations to Mookie on a great season, but Acuña's going to win.
I'm sure the Cubs broadcasters are going to respond to Mookie and say, "Are we still talking about this? Move on."
That's a bad look.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, everybody has a bad day, I guess.
Well, I'm telling you, if they clinched a week ago, they would not have had the response that they had. But the fact that they're falling apart is
no question about it. Sunday night is Jets-Chiefs, and it will be the first Jets Sunday night football game since 2012. And I would imagine that NBC is regretting that decision. I mean, I know that Aaron Rodgers was supposed to be here, but the Chiefs, box office, Taylor Swift, and everything that comes along with her appearance at the game, and reportedly she's going to be there. They're going to get numbers, but the football game is going to be just an absolute show.
And I also feel bad for the Swifties that are just now being exposed to football, that they have not watched football before. They're, I want to see Taylor Swift's boyfriend on the field or whatever. And they've watched the Bears, and then they will watch the Jets in successive weeks and think that that's football.
That's football. It's the Zach Wilson show needs to come to a merciful end. It's impossible to watch.
You know what's
They have
funny?
Trevor Simeon time.
He's Joe Montana next to Zach Wilson.
What's
he really
funny
is.
that just the mere fact that Chiefs are on that game, I get excited to watch that game. Like, just so I could see that. I know how bad the game is. I know that it's not going to be, but just because, hey, I get a chance to see Mahomes. There's no distractions. I get to see Travis Kelce, everything else. I'm in.
It's interesting you say that because the only time I've ever liked watching someone excellent just destroy everyone else. Like, I like watching excellent against excellent. The only time I've ever been fully riveted by someone that's just that much better
Tiger?
That's it. That's the only time. Where Tiger was so much better than everybody else. I didn't care that he was winning by 10 shots. I just wanted to watch him do his thing.
There was no excitement. No, there was excitement, but there was no drama to who's going to win, who's going to lose.
Just what is he going to do?
How much is he going to win by?
And what's he going to do?
I brought her name back, I guess, earlier this week with Serena Williams, but when Keila Ledecky to Me Too, again, I'm going to go watch swimming because I want her to watch her beat people by two entire laps of the pool because she's that insanely good and better than everyone else.
And can you put that in context for those of us that don't know swimming? Like, is that winning by 2 laps? Is that winning a baseball game by 20 runs?
That is winning a football game 41-0.
Okay.
So what's so funny?
Yeah.
My family and I had
70 to 20.
My family had this joke because the very first time she was like a 16-year-old, she was going out there and swimming in the Olympics. She was, it was one of the long distance events, the 1500, I believe, and she was going out at a record pace. They were like, she's blowing this line out of the water. She's gonna have to come back. She didn't have to pace herself. She ends up totally murdering that line, the world record, and they were like, well, I guess we underestimated her. It's very cool, and she's been blowing it up ever since.
It was today, September 28th in 1988, that Orel Hershiser broke his Dodger pitcher Don Drysdale's record by pitching 59 consecutive scoreless innings. And do I get to tell my favorite part of this again?
Yeah.
Because I love this. Oh, no, not the same story, right? Here it comes. It had to be a scoreless tie through 9 innings for him to break the record, right? It's a scoreless innings record. He needed 10 innings to break the record. The only way you get 10 innings in a scoreless, you need 0-0, right? Dodgers score, they win, season ends. He doesn't break the record until potentially next year. If the Padres score, doesn't matter. The streak's over. He doesn't break the record. It needed to be a 0-0 tie through 9 innings, and that's exactly what happened.
That's not freaking meant to be.
It's crazy, right?
And every time you've told that story, it's like, think about just the hype going into a game. It's like the only way this happens is 0-0 through 9, and then he stays there for the 10th.
Can I throw one out?
And everybody's like, all right, yeah, that's not happening.
If you're on the Dodgers, and you're like, hey, let's just let him keep putting up zeros until he doesn't. And I'm not saying throw away at bats. I'm just saying,
I get it.
Let's maybe see a few pitches that maybe we might go out after another point. Maybe?
That's
crazy.
I don't know. Yeah, it could happen. That doesn't sound shocking.
An incredible accomplishment. Jeannie Buss said that she would not be surprised if LeBron James played another 5 seasons.
It wouldn't surprise me if LeBron played another 5 years. We've seen him do things, in the last couple seasons that, defied anything we'd seen before. But that's his decision.
Okay, if I'm going on Basketball Reference in 4 years, and I'm saying, yeah, but in his 23rd season, he was still averaging 22 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists, that sounds... I can't really comprehend that one. To see, even saying right now, he's in his 21st season in the league, and the numbers that he's had. Can I read some to you? And I know this is... It just... For me, it doesn't make sense, okay? Last season, 38 years old, he averaged 29 points a game. He averaged 8 rebounds, and he averaged 7 assists. 29, 8, and 7.
It's a triple-double.
Come on, man. And I'm not telling you the man hasn't slowed down. I'm not telling you he's the same defender he was in his 15th season. I'm not telling you there aren't times where he settles for a jumper and everybody's like, Bron, drive the ball. And Bron's probably saying, I'm 38. Look at all the minutes I have on me. I need to settle for a 3. I'm not driving the ball to the basket. I know things have changed. It's not the same, but that's insane.
Here's LeBron is not going to be playing NBA basketball 5 years from now. I truly believe that in my heart, but I wouldn't bet on it. That's the crazy part, right? Like him playing for 5 more years, it's like, no. But then you say what you just read off, Slee, all of those numbers, it's like, maybe he might. Like, no other player ever would you even entertain the idea. I don't think he will, but I'm not saying no way, no how, no chance.
He's still putting up numbers. He's still carrying the team.
Okay, let me flip it on its head a little bit.
They're fifth favorites. They're fifth odds in, I forgot which one, fifth best odds to win a championship. He's on one of those teams.
It happens occasionally, but how often when he's on the court is he not the best player on the court? 1 out of every 5 or 6 games?
Yes.
8 or 9?
Yeah.
Right? Not very often.
And that doesn't mean that he won't have a better night than whoever's on the other side.
Sure.
For that one night.
But, okay, if you played Giannis, okay, you got Jokic out there. All right, maybe Embiid, maybe Tatum. There's a few, but there's not 15
You're
or
not
30
going too
of them.
far down that list.
No chance. 1994.
Oh, also, I have news from Adam Schefter. So Adam Schefter says this, that for the second straight day, the Colts listed Anthony Richardson as a full participant in practice, putting him on track to play Sunday versus the Rams.
Okay. Good.
So we don't know. We don't know.
Forth. I think I want Gardner Minshew to play. He's a backup for the reason, right? He's okay. He's not a bad player, but Anthony Richardson's that way. We're going to get it. Oh, he got out again. Wait, did he throw that ball 60 yards on a line? Like, his freak factor is off the charts. Minshew might, nickel and dime your way down the field, but I don't think he's going to out-freak you.
Got to get that game.
They got to find a way to block somebody along the way as well. You know what we should do right now? You know what I'd really like to do right now?
What is that?
A little super crosstalk. Bonk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins. Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
Woo, woo, woo. All right, I got a lot that I want to get to right here. I want to start with what we just played. Did you see where Jeannie said that she thinks LeBron could play another 5 seasons? That she said that on TV. We just
really. As the Laker play-by-play announcer, I hope she's 100% right.
5 more seasons. Huh?
5 more. Em, can you cue it up again? Could we play it so the guys can hear it?
Take him to age 43.
4, right?
4.
38 now. Be 39 in December.
Turns 39 on December 30th.
So it would take him to Tom Brady level.
Which strangely, December 30th, when LeBron was born, is also the birthday of Tiger Woods and Sandy Koufax.
Oh, wow.
And
it's a good day.
If you want your kid to be like
December
the
30th.
greatest in whatever sport you're in, Google December 30th birthdays and just watch.
Take a listen to this. This is Jeannie.
It wouldn't surprise me if LeBron played another 5 years. We've seen him do things, in the last couple seasons that, defied anything we'd seen before. But that's his decision.
So I don't think he's going to play 5 more years.
No.
But I also do not want to bet my house on it. That's the level of 1 in a billion-y that we're talking about that nobody plays
Insane.
into their 45
If there was
years
ever
old.
a guy
If
who
there
could
was
defy the odds, it would be him.
Everybody said this about Brady, and he just kept going.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not 100% no. I'm a no, but I'm not.
I'm a very unlikely, but the chances aren't 0.
You think he'd never do the? I don't want to say the Vince Carter, but not be, if not the best player on the team, very close to it.
I think he said that he doesn't want to play just to play. That they're either competing for a championship or there's no point. And by the way, Tom Brady, that's a great example. It's not like Brady at the end of his career was just hanging out to wave at people.
Right.
There was still a chance to go get another Super Bowl.
Sure.
Did it in Tampa.
Yep.
I want to see him try.
How'd the draft go? How'd the Toy Story draft? First of all, John, you know this Sunday. They're doing the Toy Story
Right.
game from London. I guess it'll be on super early.
It's
in the
6:30.
morning.
6:30 kickoff our time.
6:30 is
So-
a rumor to me. I've never seen 6:30.
You don't strike me as
It doesn't
have
even
you ever had
exist.
to- you did mornings on
I
Extra
did.
when I first started
and
listening
then
to
now I'm in bed until 11.
11.
Yeah, I'm
and then
in
he's
bed.
back in the bed at 5.
I do a lot of my. I wake up at 8:30.
11?
I do a lot of my prep. I
in
do
bed?
yoga at 10.
Okay.
I go back to
Then he
bed.
gets
I
back
finish
in
my
the
prep
bed.
Why do you get back in bed?
because it's comfortable. My dogs are
Don't
cuddling
you have a
with
comfortable
me.
chair at your
No,
house?
I like laying. I like working in bed. I'm a good. Bed is really good. Bed is good for you. It's
11?
good for you. Yeah, 11.
I like that you get up and exercise.
Somebody had a
Yeah.
good comp yesterday. You know who he's going to become? The uncles in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory that never get out of bed ever.
You're
Yeah.
Uncle Joe?
Yep.
Apparently.
I got a golden ticket.
By the way,
But if you're productive,
Yes, I am getting
All right.
a lot of work done.
do your thing.
I just like working like this.
Uncle
If you're on
Joe
YouTube,
was
you can see
capable
what
of
that
walking
looks
this
like.
whole time, and then he just, when he finally got the ticket, he's able to get up.
Of course.
Like, let's
Got to step A. When the bell rings, you got to answer
The
it.
buckets were struggling.
Yes.
The buckets needed some income.
I'd like to point out though, I don't think he got up and did yoga in the morning. Like I
He
got up and
started
do yoga.
dancing right
He
away.
did. He did dance. Yeah. All right. So the Toy Story
All
draft.
right, so we could, what it was, you had to pick a Toy Story character and give him a position. Okay, that's what it was. Ready, John?
Sure.
This is Jorge's team. He picked Woody at quarterback.
Okay. Strong first
he had
pick.
the number one pick. Yeah.
Bo Peep as his running back.
Don't love it.
No, I don't.
Slinky as his wideout.
Slinky would be tricky to cover. Not a lot of speed though.
No, but he can get
Just
downfield.
climbs
Bo Peep-
downstairs
Bo Peep
really
tells
well.
me they can't. Jorge, your team can't run the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did,
so-
did you see her driving with that skunk through different things?
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
she's good,
Your
man.
team can't
Yeah,
run the ball.
no.
I think you're in trouble.
Sorry.
I think
Sorry,
you're the
Jorge.
Rams in Cincinnati. You can't run the ball.
Refused to run the ball.
By the way, that's
that
my
is
pick.
true.
And you
That
know
is
what?
true.
I said I texted you guys. I said Mr. Potato Head left
Yeah.
tackle.
Mr. Potato
Come
Head
on.
was left on the board.
Yeah.
Here's my team.
All
I
right.
took Buzz as my quarterback.
Okay, strong quarterback pick there.
I have Ham, the pig,
Yeah.
as my left tackle
Oh,
to
left
protect
tackle,
Buzz.
good.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
mine
I've
won
got
that thing.
I've got the two of the three most important positions in
Yeah.
this thing, and then lastly, I took a head coach, and I took the Etch-a-Sketch to draw up my
Oh,
plays.
that is genius.
Right?
Yeah.
So you can draw plays on the Etch-a-Sketch.
X's and O's.
So far, I like your team way better than Jorge.
Yeah, way
Okay.
better than Jorge.
Emily's team. She has Jesse as her quarterback. She has Stinky Pete, the prospector,
Right.
as her head coach.
Okay.
And
Well,
Big
he'd be kind of like Bum Phillips. He'd try a whole bunch of crazy stuff.
Right.
and Big Baby as her running back.
Now that's good. That's a
I
good
like
running
Big
back.
Baby
pick.
at running back,
I don't know
yeah.
who's tackling Big Baby.
No, Big Baby would be hard to get on the ground.
Yeah.
And then Slee has Rex as his tight end, which you need a very accurate quarterback if you've got Rex.
Gotta hit
Well,
him
I
in the
think
chest.
you're thinking Gronk.
You
Right,
got to
he's
hit
got
him in
no-
the chest.
But it's got to be right
hit him
here.
right here.
He has no reach.
Yeah, just hit him right here.
Right. His wingspan is like nothing.
Yeah,
better
tight
have-
ends, you got to be very
Better have
accurate.
Tom
there.
Brady as your quarterback throwing
Big
the Rex.
NFL body, but no wingspan.
He's
for
got
Rex.
the little green men, the
aliens.
Ooh,
Oh.
those guys.
They're playing the secondary.
They're this defensive
secondary.
backfield.
Oh.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
my
I think
defense.
they're getting.
They're short.
Yeah, and picture like Buzz running over the middle. He would just trample those guys.
And then Forky, which is his homage to Brandon Staley as his head coach.
That's my coach.
Forky.
Yeah, because we're going to try to get Caleb Williams with.
Oh, you're tanking.
Yeah, we're
Travis, you're tanking.
I
So-
think you won this draft.
next year.
So,
Right.
yeah, Forky,
So-
I think you will finish last.
Travis Lee and Emily, you can jump in on this too if you want. Weigh in on a debate we're having that I'm the only one who has my position. Mason and Bergman are all on the other side. I would start Bobby Miller game 1 of the postseason. I don't trust Clayton Kershaw. And the reason is Clayton Kershaw hasn't hit 90 all season. Bobby Miller throws 100 miles an hour. I want the guy who can throw 100 miles an hour available to pitch right away again. I want Miller coming back before I want Kershaw coming back. Slee, what do you think? Game 1, who gets the ball?
So we went back and forth on this. I'm sold.
You would go Bobby Miller? How about you, Trav?
I'm going by Miller, and I think there's if Kershaw gets it, it's not about baseball per se. It's about
Respect.
Kershaw, it's
Yeah.
respect, it's that.
I don't know.
Unless experience
I don't
is
know.
the thing that you're obviously depending on.
So I was talking to Bill Plunkett, texting with Bill Plunkett yesterday, and he said, Kershaw didn't have velocity at the start of the year.
Mm-hmm.
He was at like 91 at the start of the year, and now he's
down.
at 89.
It's down.
And he's throwing the split change more.
It's not just the velocity with Kershaw; it's the command.
And here's something.
And that's the part that
his ratio is still less than 1 over the last 9 innings.
But here's something that
runners.
no one has brought up, and it's like people are afraid to say it. Clayton Kershaw is an incredibly average postseason pitcher. He's the most dominant regular season Dodger pitcher ever. Like Nicholas, he has been unable to duplicate that in the postseason. He's been better over the past 3 or 4 years.
I don't think they win the World Series without him.
I agree.
He started 2 games and had very, very strong starts.
Right. But that was 3 years ago.
His postseason numbers, like if you just take the Baseball Reference postseason numbers, they're skewed because it was so bad at the beginning.
Correct. Yes.
So
those Cardinals games. Remember, he got hung out to dry in that one Cardinals.
Well, and you were at the Astros game where he gave up like 9 runs.
And again, skewed for the obvious reasons.
Right. But Trav, who would you start game 1?
I don't even think it's a question. I think it's Bobby Miller by a mile.
Well, see, Mason feels exactly the opposite.
And by the way, and I don't think it's because you owe it to Clayton. Like, I don't care how Clayton Kershaw feels about it. Like, you're the 1, you're the 2. But I mean, what you're saying is you're going to get Kershaw in games 2 and 5. Do you want Bobby Miller in 1 and 4, or do you want Kershaw in 2 and potentially a deciding game 5?
I'm not trying to not answer your question, but I'm going to answer it slightly differently.
Okay.
I want my best pitcher to pitch first. Bobby Miller's their best
That's
pitcher.
how I feel, too.
Yeah, I think Clayton Kershaw right now should start game 1.
Yeah,
I would feel confident with Kershaw as the number 1. And I was going to say, just to follow up, Plunkett says he thinks it is going to be Kershaw.
I do too.
Yeah,
I do too. I think it will be Kershaw.
It's a mistake.
Because if you
I don't
look
think
at it,
but then you get Miller in a deciding game 5.
But I don't think they have enough pitching to do anything anyway.
They're going to ham and egg it across the board. They're going to try to put it together.
Emmett Sheehan last night.
Well, sell because he's saying, and I lean more towards John. I'm more surprised. If the Dodgers get to the World Series, I'm much more surprised than if they don't.
I'll be surprised if the Dodgers get out of round 1.
I would be shocked if the Dodgers get to the World Series.
I
would be downright shocked.
I
don't think this is our year. I'll root like hell, but I don't think this is our year.
I'm going to get this a little bit wrong, but it's mostly right. There's the line in Bull Durham, like, young and dumb is dangerous.
Right.
And they got a little of that. And I'm not
They don't know what they don't know.
They don't know what they don't know. What they have is a stable full of dudes that throw 100 miles an hour. Now, the risk is one of those guys has a bad day, you lose the game.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where they are. But what they have is a stable full of guys that throw 100 miles an hour. And going out there, has Bobby Miller at any point to you looked like he was freaked out by he's pitched poorly.
He started out really well, then he hit the skids. Now he's sort of rounded back,
and he's coming back again. Pepio had a bad. He's coming back again. Sheehan had probably his best outing of his career last night.
I think I would start Sheehan in Game 3 after watching last night.
Here's what I think they're going to do, and I think it's a huge mistake. But I've been around the Dodgers long enough to know it. They're going to start Lance Lynn in Game 3. He's going to be in a short leash, but they're going to start him. Because they won't trust Sheehan. I would start Pepio.
I would start Sheehan. 10 strikeouts last night. He was commanding.
Right, but who did they play?
Rockies in Colorado.
Can I offer
Rockies
counter to that?
Colorado.
Because Colorado sucks. They do. But pitching in Colorado's hard.
Right, and Bobby Miller was great the other day.
They all were. Pepio was good. Grove was good. Miller was good. Sheehan was good. All 4 of those guys were really good in Colorado, which makes me
why do I think they're going to start Lance Lynn in Game 3?
It's an interesting question. Look, this is not unlike basketball a lot of times, where you go with the guys that you have a track record with. At least I know what I'm getting with Lance Lynn. It's a guy that's susceptible to home runs, but Lance Lynn's not going to be scared. Lance Lynn's not going to be freaked out. He's pitched in the playoffs. He might get lit up, but I don't think you're going to give him a chance to get clobbered.
So you would start, John, you're saying...
I think, here's what I would do. I would start Bobby Miller Game 1, Kershaw Game 2, Pepio Game 3. And I think what the Dodgers are going to do is start Kershaw Game 1, Bobby Miller Game 2, Lance Lynn Game 3.
I think you're right. I think Lance Lynn is the question mark.
I think they're going to do an opener in Game 3.
I do too.
I think you'll get some Caleb Ferguson, Gratterall situation.
One of those guys,
and
then you could use Lance Lynn as a bulk pitcher after an opener.
You need to get him into the lineup in a spot where you're not dealing with an Acuña, O'Reilly, an Olsen, an Ozuna. You need to find a spot where...
And by the way, he was terrible. Lance Lynn was terrible against the Braves in his last start.
Well, it's right now, if the season ended today, it would be the Brewers or the Cubs, right?
Yeah, Brewers, Cubs, Marlins.
The Dodgers will play the best team that comes out of the wild card round.
Philly's going to be on the other side.
But what if the Brewers get?
No, they don't reseed in baseball. So they're
No,
playing.
I looked at it this morning.
No, they play the winner of the 3-6 game.
Are you 100% sure about that?
99.
I thought I looked at it this morning.
Let's say Brewers are eliminated.
It's not like the NFL. The NFL reseeds. Baseball, the Dodgers are going to Google or go to MLB.com, Trav, and Google playoff bracket.
Yeah, I'm looking at it
I
right
think
now.
what it will say is the 3-6
But the bracket,
game,
John, is not what the rules say. Because I literally looked at exactly what you're talking about
Yeah.
this morning. I'm looking at it right now, and I spelled MLB with an N. So let me try that again.
What is MLN.com?
MLN.
And Trav, I
Does
think
anybody have
the
that
reason
domain?
they do it that way, because Mason and I had somebody from MLB on one year, this a long time ago, and they said we can't get enough hotel rooms and we can't arrange it if we don't do it this way.
Okay, so I'm looking at the bracket right now, which, yes, they have them bracketed to play the 6-3. But I want to read you what this says. Okay? So the division series, it says the NL higher wild card winner at NL division winner number 2. That means the better the team, they go to the
So
wild
they
card
do
number 2.
reseed.
That's how I read this.
So let's say Milwaukee loses.
Right.
And
Like last
Philly
year,
wins.
all the
Philly
higher
wins.
Philly
seeds
would play
win.
the Dodgers.
Philly would play the Dodgers.
And
And
Miami
Cubs-
or Chicago would go play
Again,
Atlanta.
without the bracketing, the pictures have them slotted towards each, but that changes every day based on who's in what spot.
Right. But we should find out. We should call over there and find out, do they
NL
reseed?
lower wild card winner, right, which means the worst team against NL division winner number 1, which is Atlanta.
But are you
Right.
sure it's not worst team at the start of the playoffs rather than after those first series?
Not according to what this looks like to me.
Okay.
It's maybe we're both right
somebody
and both wrong.
Well, somebody will know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get.
I
we'll
would
get
say
some
two
answers.
things can be true at the same time.
Not
but
in
they
this
can't.
case. Not
they can't.
in
I
this
just
case.
like that expression because it makes you sound sort of smart and like Shadano.
It's
so,
true.
But two things in this case are not.
I've been saying that
True
for a
at the
long
same
time.
time.
I
Have
think
you?
that
Did you
Sedano-
invent that?
No, I didn't invent it. You know who I heard it from the first time? Harry Shearer, who plays Homer Simpson, or not Homer Simpson, Mr. Burns.
Sure.
Yeah,
on The
he
Simpsons.
does like 4 or 5 voices
Right.
on that.
So
show.
I heard him say, he goes, I understand that whatever the number is, I make $20 million a year, and that's obscene. It is, but I'm also underpaid. Two things can be it can be true at the same time. That this show is what it is. That
Sure.
I am not getting my fair share,
Yes,
even though
yes.
it's an obscene
In
amount
its
of money.
40th year
That's
or
the
whatever
first
it
time
is.
I heard.
Yeah.
it.
Trav wants credit. When you
So
say
Harry
that.
Shearer. So you're
That's
saying
what I heard.
Shadano got it from Harry Shearer.
Yes. Well, I'm giving it to Harry Shearer.
Okay, good.
Harry Shearer gets it. Super Crosstalk. It's brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about. We'll see you tomorrow.
It's Evan Cohen.